The illusion is gone, bro.
I mean,
Look.
That
honestly,
was
that's how I feel right now with cause I ate the Mr. Beast burgers. And
Oh,
shit.
okay.
I eat Burger King and McDonald's. I'm just like, this isn't the
Oh,
same. This is not a
ugh.
burger no more. Like, Mr. Beast
It,
burgers are a burger. Mr. Beast
fuck. When
it,
does
burgers
that
yeah.
Beast
are
Burger
a burger.
thing run out?
What's
I
up?
didn't even use it yet. When does that Beast Burger deal run out?
I think it's today. Oh, it's only like just like it takes out the delivery is just like 4.99, so it takes out that whole thing. Right? It just takes out that.
Oh.
It's expensive. But if you're buying for yourself, then it should be fine.
Mm. Oh, you buy for your whole family, right?
I buy for like two of them at least, or three, or
Mm.
my parents as well.
Mm. That's cool. That's
Free
cool.
delivery.
You're a good son.
I just feel bad when they especially for my parents. My mom cooks for me, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if I don't buy them nothing, they're
I
gonna
feel
they're
that.
gonna be like, oh my god, look at them, they're eating nice while we're here starving. I'm like,
My
damn.
mom's a picky eater, and even with her being a picky eater, she's always like, "Where's my portion?" I'm like, "Bro,
Fact. You see that?
Facts, facts,
It's so,
facts. That's fine too.
bro.
like I didn't want it, but I would have liked it. You at least told me like I asked. I'm like, all right,
Facts.
mom."
I'm like, yo,
Like I crave pizza a lot, but like my family doesn't eat pizza like that. They don't
Hmm.
like it as much, or most of them don't.
Okay, we
And
gotta go to that pizza joint next time because I'm
yeah,
tired of just not having pizza. But yeah, what's up? Go ahead.
and then I like every time I'm craving it, right? I can't buy it
Hmm.
because I know if I buy it, no one's gonna eat it, and I'm the only one eating, and then I'll feel bad. So I try
Yeah,
to buy something that everyone can enjoy.
yeah, yeah. I get that. I feel that.
me is like, uh, I would ask, right? I would ask like, oh, do you want something? And then she'd be like, no, 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 right? And then I order, and then she'd be like, what would you get for me? And I'm like, and just in case I buy something extra,
Let's get it.
and then you want to know what happens? I
She
don't want
wants
it.
yours. Yeah. Oh, I thought she wanted yours. Not bad,
Nah, nah,
bro.
nah.
Damn.
She just pressing me, bro. She just pressing me like,
She's
yeah,
doing
you
the sun
better.
check. She's
Yeah,
doing the sun
facts.
check, bro. She's like making sure she's sunning your shit real quick. Did wait? I don't think the alert happened yet on Discord.
It takes a while. I just like maybe like give it some like 5 minutes
All right,
tops.
we want to officially start to the alert happen on Discord then. Then we can officially. We keep on talking about random bullshit until then.
Facts.
Um, yeah, but like my I don't like McDonald's anymore. I think McDonald's. If we did the tier list again, McDonald's easily go on the C tier.
C tier.
Easy C tier.
Okay, I'll say low
After
B. Low B.
after what they did to the bro, they have spicy McChickens and them just taste horrible. They don't taste good. They taste like cardboard. Like what happened? Like they don't taste like you know how like a McChicken has like a very like or sorry McNugget. A McNugget has a very like distinct taste because they have like, certain like I don't know some certain like spices in it that just make it taste like a McNugget, right? The spicy McNuggets don't have that distinct taste. They just taste like some rubbery like microwavable nuggets with a little bit of fucking like paprika on top, and that's
What, the
it.
spicy nuggets? I had, I think, you
Yeah,
know what I noticed, actually? I feel like they make all the nuggets in the same pile, and the spicy ones.
yeah.
Cause like I would be ordering like normal nuggets, cause I have a baby tongue and I can't eat, I don't try spicy food. But when they
Hmm.
come, it's like I can taste the spices, and I'm like this. I feel like they're making.
Oh,
I'm just like, all right, so you guys don't separate this, obviously, and you're here
yeah. But to be
seasoning.
honest, sorry to cut you off, but to be honest, like the spicy McNuggets, they're not really the spicy part. I think the spicy part supposed to be the sauces because I had the extremely hot sauce, and it's kind of hot, but like I think that's what makes it more spicy, the actual sauce itself. But the base nugget itself is like it's mild.
Yeah, it should be the same as all the other nuggets. But I'm saying like they're
Yeah,
making it like they're putting the season, like they're putting whatever the sauce, whatever, next to the normal
yeah,
nugget on
yeah.
it.
They're mixing it. Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like getting saltless fries. You're gonna have salt in those fries regardless. You can't avoid that fate.
All right,
True.
we're gonna start the episode now. All right, yeah, yeah, because we got some audience now.
Okay, cool.
Yo, where the fuck is Crashrz? This is an episode with Crashrz, and I can see a question already. We got hello, Mr. Good Sir, asking where is Crashrz? Yo, we don't even know.
Crashrz is in the
Facts. This
ether right
dude is
now.
fake.
That man, this is his episode. We'll just pretend he's here. We'll we'll have one of us answer the question for him, and make it
Okay.
his own opinion.
Right. Oh, you want me to answer?
Yeah,
Like, ask
ask Crashers.
Crashes?
Yeah, after we all answered our opinion, like our answers, one of us will be chosen to answer for Crashers.
Sounds good.
All right, bet. Okay, great. So we're gonna start it off. Today's episode is about education,
Mhm,
or like what people like to call it, the flawed education system.
mhm.
This will be fun. I wanted to hear about what Crashrz would say because I feel like he's what like I hear a lot about opinions on it,
Yeah,
and
him and
and
Okiman going ham about this.
it's to me honest, I think it's like it's the same thing I hear every day. I hear about it from everybody. They say they have very similar opinions on the education system than other people, which is fine. That means
Mhm.
they're not conspiracists or something. Clearly something's going on.
Right.
But we're about
It
to
has some merit.
yeah. Let's hit it up with the first question. Do
Okay.
you remember which part of your life felt the most educated?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, you want to explain
do
that?
you want me to add more Yeah, I
Yeah,
can add more
yeah.
context. So like for example, like what part of your like educational like I guess group like for elementary school, middle school, high school, like which part of that like educational system did you feel like gave you the most education, like the most bang for your buck? Because like if you want, I'll go first, right? So like for me, like when it came to like high school, like that's like the default answer. Like people think like college is a little bit more of like not really in that bubble. It's not really fair to call college a part of that bubble. So I'm kind of throwing that to the side. But like people usually say high school is like the most educated part of your life, but I feel like that's kind of like a little false because high school is like super like once you hit like the second year, it becomes like super like easy and you just kind of like kind of just going through the motion of things. I feel like middle school is a little bit more intense with the whole entire like when they have those little writing exams and they have you do like the different paperwork and they have like the advanced classes and they have the different clubs you can go to do like high school level work. Like that stuff is a lot more crazy to me. I feel like in middle school. So for me, my most like educated point of view was in middle school because we were just learning about algebra. We learned about like a lot of these fractions and a lot of these different like advanced mathematics. I feel like that's really where it really popped off for me. It was in middle school when things got a little more tough. How about you guys? What's up?
Cool. I agree with when you said like people will say about like college is like a very
Hmm.
it's its own separate thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't remember too much about elementary, so I'm gonna cross that over. Like I don't think I like
Okay.
I think I learned as much as a normal elementary school would. Kid have. I like math, but the only time I learned math, like I truly wanted to keep going or like understood it completely was in eighth grade, which
Mm.
because I used to suck at math and I didn't know why. Like it was just a hard subject to me. And then one teacher, he helped me out, an after
Yeah,
school
yeah.
teacher at least. I'll say between eighth grade to 11th grade was my most educated. I started learning more.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, sorry. 10th grade. 10th grade. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Eighth grade to 10th
So
grade.
sophomore year, yeah, sophomore
Yeah.
year.
That's when I felt more educated there, and that's when I started utilizing everything I learned from there with my like when I go higher to class and like higher grades and even in college. College. I
Mm.
feel like with college versus the others like those other three, they don't really like professors don't really try to make you remember stuff or at least put it like make it mental like mentally in your brain where it's like it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it's like a habit of yours. Colleges don't do that. They kind of just try to make you pass the test, pass the finals, and then you're good. You're good. You got the
Yeah,
grade.
yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah. How about you, Malik? What's up, bro?
Uh, for me personally, I'm gonna say all of them are equally trash. But uh, in terms of what I think was more relevant, college is definitely life's teacher because it's like the first step you take outside into the world. Um, and you're allowed to make mistakes, which will inevitably well, which will undoubtedly destroy your wallet. But that's
Yeah.
aside from the point. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
everything has to have
Well,
a
I mean,
penalty, I guess, in the real world.
technically you don't
So
make a mistake then. You can't make a mistake because then it destroys your wallet
yeah, but
and
that's real life.
you're broke.
So, but I'm saying you're allowed to make mistakes in
Bro.
college, like in high school. If you get left back, who cares?
Yeah, that mean,
Yeah,
that mean
technically.
well, wouldn't you say that means in high school that means you're allowed to make mistakes because who cares that happens? well, in college, if you can't afford to make a mistake because of you get your
You're paying more.
yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
pay
Oh,
more, and if you can't pay more,
I know, but it's like not really a mistake either because nothing happens. Well,
Yeah.
okay. How about this?
Okay.
I'll change what I said from being allowed to making mistakes to like having mistakes that mattered,
okay, yeah,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So
I
less
like that. I
repercussions.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. 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 I agree with that.
Because I knew a dude that was like that was like a super senior when I was a freshman, and I left, and that dude still a fucking super senior. Yo, I know Mister Goods. Hello, Mister Good sir. Please tell me you know my son Clark.
Oh, you say people's names now? Come on,
Nah,
bro.
he's gonna
You
hunt you
probably still
down. The
chilling.
super senior. In fact,
That
Listen,
man's still
he's
trying to
still
hunt
listen,
down his
listen,
EGTA right now.
Clark is a grown ass man.
in high school still. He's trying.
That
Clark
man
is
trying to
a
hunt down
grown.
his GED
Listen,
right now, bro. Let him have his GED, bro.
Speaking of
yo, my
super seniors,
just know
they always make me laugh when they go for the girls.
the
But they're
freshman.
like the freshmen.
Yup, exactly. Yep, exactly.
I'd be
Exactly.
wilding. I'd be like,
I can't.
you a whole 19-year-old going after a 14-year-old, bro. Chill out.
Came,
I'd be mad
came
as
in,
weak.
came in. Dude was a super senior. Left. Dude was still a super senior.
Dog.
In the lunchroom playing dominoes like a real ass nigga.
I feel
Okay,
that. I
maybe
feel
not real,
that.
but maybe not real, but he was
And
in
then
he
was
was in there.
investing in his future, bro.
Bags.
But yeah, I feel like I feel like I get where Malik's coming from because I don't know if you guys noticed, but like when I was in middle school, like especially like my last year, their senior year, like they would always tell like, hey, don't get too comfortable because high school is gonna be way harder than this. And I don't know if I went to a bad high school, whatever, but when I went to high school, like my high school was like it's light. Like it felt harder being in middle school than it did in high school because you get to pick your own schedule to some extent. Like you have more breaks kind of, and like I don't know, it's all like middle school was like way harder because like you had a formulated schedule, you had to get there all the time at 8 o'clock. Like my second year of high school, I was a part of the honor roll system, and we didn't start class till 10 o'clock in the
In the
morning.
morning, damn.
So I was chilling. Yeah, so because I started the third period and I left I think around fifth period. I started third period. I left around like ninth period. So I was there for about like 7 hours. So like it was way like more relaxing than it was in middle school. I had to kind of leave at 3 o'clock. So like coming at 10 and leaving at 4. That's nothing. Bro. I can do that. That's free. So I don't know. For me, like I felt like high school was like walking in the park compared to middle school. Maybe because I was younger and I was more like I guess like more restless, so I needed to move more. But like in high school, it just felt like everything was kind of snapping into place a lot easier for me. Papers were like what like 2-page papers for. I don't know why it's so easy. Like some of the homework in high school was like only 2 pages, 3 pages. I'm like, bro, that's light. Like, we chilling, bro. And then you
Facts.
say like, oh, dude, you can do 3 to 5 sentences per paragraph. Like that's nothing, bro. Compared to college work, 3 to 5 sentences per paragraph. That's light. Yeah,
Facts.
so I don't know. I don't know. I feel like high school is definitely like gassed up beyond belief.
All right, I heard everything you said, but I want. Can you fix your mic a little bit? Cause I feel like it's a little like if
Yeah.
yeah, when you speak like in a full sentences like that, it's like I heard everything. Like I didn't miss anything, but like it
Mm.
sounded robotic to me in certain
I'm
parts.
gonna come in and out.
All right, bet. All right. So while you do that, what he said about what was it about high school being like
Am I better?
yeah, you're good.
Okay. Let me
Yes.
know what happens again because I have this new mic. I don't know if it's working or not, but it should be working.
All right, it actually sounds really better now. Okay, so
Okay.
I was gonna explain like what you said about high school versus like or your like the other classes like being easier. I
Yeah.
personally feel like I've been to a bad like my high school was definitely a bad high school. Like I'm not like I don't like to tell like I people think it was because of my like low self esteem, but I honestly felt that I was my intelligence is average. Like it's not like
Mm.
based on other people. Like I think I'm average. I'm good. Um,
Okay.
but like
High school's
in
brain.
middle school, it was a small middle school, but it was at that time it was considered one of the best middle schools, right? Because it had like it was really it had affiliations with a lot of programs. Um, but I didn't do so well there. Like I didn't do so well in the specialized high school tests. I didn't do so well. Like I passed the regions, the algebra regions. Uh, but
Mm.
Easy.
but like once I got to like high school, I was top four in that school, and
Wow.
yeah, so it's just like it was also considered a short, small school as well. But
Okay.
I didn't like the people I was challenging to. That was top two, the top three, right? Well, top three deserved it. Like he's one of my friends, but the other two, they took like one of them took only what is it? Community service classes, which boost their GPA a lot at the end of their senior
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
And the other one,
And then they get
he
like free credits too, right?
yeah, yeah, it gives you free credit. So clearly, you're gonna get 100 in a
Mm-hmm.
community service class and boost your GPA. And then
Mm-hmm.
the first one, he was from France, and he transferred his credits from there to the school, and he took those same classes from that from France to that in this high school. So he had double chemistry grades. So you're learning more thing. You're learning the same thing while doing it twice. Now you're getting 100, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, like I didn't do that. Like I couldn't do that. I did take a community service because I had to because I had no more classes to take. I took like one or two. But yeah, that school was I don't. But then I go to college and I'm here being I don't understand a single thing they're telling me, and I'm like, damn, high school was like free as fuck.
Facts. High school is free. It's so weird because it's supposed to be like the gateway to you finding out what you wanted to do, but nothing was
Yeah.
like nothing. First of all, it wasn't challenging, at least for me, right? Because
Yeah.
some people don't have it in them to do it,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Like, and not to underrate those people who have struggles in high school. I think it just depends on the high school you go to, and depends on the educators you have as well. They are all factored
yeah,
in as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of factors,
yeah.
right? But first of all, I went to a massive high school. I'm talking like 4,000 students in that high school, 1,000 people in like my grade. So my school was packed, and because of that, like a lot of things that like smaller schools could have, we couldn't have because there was just way too many students to give it to.
Yeah, funding would be
Um,
crazy.
I don't really feel like I got a good high school experience because of it, especially um especially my senior year. That I think I told that story. I had a new principal. They fucked up the senior trip. They fucked up everything, and then like registering for classes in college where they like ran out of spots really quickly, and then you had to get weird schedules and shit. It was a mess. It was a very bad mess.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, same.
Uh,
Which actually, this is good.
how
This
did
this is exactly. Oh, you want to say something?
this is a good segue because
Yeah, I was
I
gonna.
don't
This is a
have any
good topic.
questions
Yeah.
about trips at all. So I was gonna
Oh,
go ahead, Lou. You got it, bro.
I
Go
was
ahead and do
gonna.
it.
This was a good segue to when we were talking about like high school being free.
Uh-huh.
The question is, when did you realize that the school system was flawed? What made you realize this?
Yeah, what's up?
You
Wanted to
guys
go
want to go
first.
first? I mean, I can go first actually. Um,
Go ahead.
so like I said, how I thought high school was free as fuck. The reason I knew that when I learned that was when I entered high school, cause I
Okay.
utilized everything that I learned from high school in college, except for like writing. I kind of like I thought I can bullshit in college for writing, but clearly I couldn't. But yeah, I did everything else I did, and I almost like I was close to failing some classes, and then I realized I can't. This clearly these teachers were being just nice to me, cause obviously in high school, like I would consider myself a good student in high school. Like I didn't cause problems. I did all my work. I didn't try to like half-ass most of my work. Like gave them like a single paper. I did what I had to do, and
Yeah.
usually teachers like that, right? If you're the quiet kid that that answers the questions, that participate, yada yada yada, that do everything. And I felt like, oh wow, these teachers probably just were so nice to me because I'm here reading my friends' papers, and I'm like, damn, they're like the way they talk is so advanced compared to mine, and I'm here like I can barely speak a single sentence. Um, Which I mean, then again, that's a little bit part of my low self esteem back in the time because when I started using my writing skills from high school, because when I took a writing course in Alfred, I didn't I was taking like I got low part grades on my papers and I didn't know why, so I just looked back on one of my high school papers and I was like, wow, this was so different compared to how I write now. And I was like, oh, I used to thought I wrote like an idiot, and then
Hmm.
I just copied what I like had previously onto a new paper, and I got like an A on my paper, and I was like, damn, high school Leo was actually not that bad compared to college Leo.
I
Um,
feel that.
but yeah, I feel like at this is where I feel like the school is flawed. Um, for during college when I realized that they don't really prepare you for college like they say they do.
Mm.
High school, I honestly thought college math would be more work than it was supposed to be. But now it's more like it's a if you don't study for it, you fail automatically. It's no homework. They call it homework, but they don't grade it. But in high school, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you had this, but like in my school, we had homework every day, or at
Oh, okay.
least for most of my classes. For math, all math like but in math courses in college, you ain't getting homework. You ain't getting quizzes. You got two tests. Fail one, you fail the class. And
Mm.
that's what most math actually that's all math courses that I've taken. I don't think I've taken a single math course that had homework in their syllabus.
Oh. Mm.
I think all my math classes had homework, but it wasn't like
It wasn't great.
often.
Yeah, like for us,
I
it
had.
wasn't graded homework. It was they call
Mm.
it homework, but it wasn't graded homework.
Really, because
It was study
I had
work.
my math lab, and that was what I had for like the homework, quote unquote. But it was like 10% of my grade, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, so but
I
like
can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think I had a single math course. Like it's so
Mm.
like right now I'm taking two math courses and one of them is like the same thing as Kelly, but they're quizzes. Like like the quizzes is ten
Ah,
percent of the grades. And then I have
Yeah,
two tests, the midterm and the final. And if I fail
I
one of
see.
them, I fail the class. So I'm just like, damn, what the hell? Like, do you guys give me
Yeah,
like in I didn't suspect this in high school. They gave us the tools. They gave us
that's like
homework.
a fucking protractor tool. That's what you're talking about.
No, like homework. Homework is actually a good studying tool. Like honestly,
it is.
like you're
Yeah,
do you. It's first of all, it's not only mandatory. It's also based on what you're gonna take on the test.
yeah.
So
It is. It's a whole idea of practice makes perfect. Like it just lets you practice what things you
yeah,
learned in class. Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
I didn't have homework in my high school classes for math. It was more like whatever we didn't do in class, we had to do for like homework. So we were doing like a bunch of problems on textbook. He'll let us do the rest of the problems at home
So you had to
if we didn't get
submit
them
something
done.
at least, yeah. So you had to
Yeah,
submit,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he would like have a whole. He'll have all the problems written down on the board. And we have to. He'll count random students. Let them like do the answers on the board. So you won't get graded for it, but if you didn't do it and you got called up there, you're kind of fucked. So
Facts.
it's one of those type of things. So either do it or you get to look like a dumbass for a couple of minutes. Or if you wanted the smart kid, you get to do it on the spot. You didn't have to do your homework, you just do it on the spot. Like, oh yeah, I know that. I can do it really easily. But yeah, and that's again how homework was for me in high school. But yeah, do you want to go, Malik? Do you want me to go about how when I feel like high school was flawed or when school was flawed in general? Malik,
Hello,
hello.
can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Do you want to go first? Or want me to go?
No, no, you're already talking. Go ahead.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. So like for me, I think when I found out that the school system was flawed, it was probably in middle school. Back when I was in sixth grade, I actually like felt like I started feeling myself because this was the first time I started getting consistent A's. Because middle school was a lot easier for me than it was elementary school. Because elementary school, I was a dumber kid, and I was more focused on like that. I feel like elementary school was the time where they focused a lot on reading, and I was really bad at reading. But then after like elementary school, they started focusing more on like math and science and more like kinetic things. So like for me, it became a lot easier to like do those things than it was to read and do English. So when I got into middle school, I was going crazy, getting A's in all my classes. And at one point, I started doing like seventh grade and eighth grade level work, and I would take it from like the higher grade students, and I just do their homework for them just to learn how to do it. And like, um, a part of me felt like this is cool and all, and I feel really smart, but like this is me doing it, right? Like I'm not like no one in the school is forcing me or telling me to like, hey, you don't lose this fire you have and like start like you pursue more. Like no one told me to pursue more. Everyone's like just you have A's, just chill out, do whatever you gotta do, right? It was more like a system where like the smart students aren't being rewarded. They're kind of like being kind of held back by the dumber students. Not to make fun of them, but like there'll be times in class where like I would go so fast in the class that my teacher would be like, "Hey Kelly, let's let the other students figure it out first before you keep on going." And like logically that makes sense, but like from like a you would think that they would like it would be really cool. They had a system where these smarter students like I guess a more refined honor roll system where the smarter students can like keep on going and seeing how far they can go up. 'Cause I feel like having them be limited by the slower students is kind of like makes it really unproductive in general. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt about it. I felt like just that was like really like boring to me having to like I knew something like for a full week, but I had to wait like a month for everybody else to figure it out because that's just the system it was for that month. It was crazy. That's kind of like one of my things. I feel like the school system was flawed. It didn't allow for those smarter students, those faster students, to like keep on progressing. We kind of got bored and we forgot it fast because we weren't doing a new thing. We just kind of like were stuck in that one thing.
Well, I have
Yeah.
a question.
What's up?
When you're in like class,
Yeah.
or no, not in class. When you're in middle school, did they have like specialized programs? Like, because my high school, I mean, not my high school, my middle school had it where they had the gen ed, and then they had had cyber, which was like a
Mm.
program above like gen ed, and you had to have like a 75 average or above to like even stay in there. And then after
Oh.
that, they had Vanguard, which I was in, and you had to have an 85 average or higher to stay in that. And then they gave
Mm.
you like more classes. And then at the top they had SIG. Um, and my class was like the bridge between them. They had like a number system. I'm not gonna go through like the whole explaining thing, but
Yeah.
but I was Vanguard, but I was like the gatekeeper for SIG, or my class was, not just me. Uh,
Mm.
and SIG, you had to have like a 90 average or higher to even stay inside. Did your school have anything like that? Or middle
Um.
school?
I guess the like like AP classes in high school. Like we had that for our school or middle school, but it was more like after school programs. Where like some of the math teachers were like, we had AP science, we had AP math. So what you would do is you would stay an hour extra in class and you would learn like high school level class, high school level schoolwork, and then you would do the regions for high school in middle school. That's what we did. So it was something like that, but it was more. I guess it was like kind of like college now, but it was high school now. I guess if I had to equate it, like we were doing high school level work in middle school, but you have to be in eighth grade and you have to have a I think you have to have a 3.2 average in order to even be a part of that system. So that's kind of how it worked out. And it was cool and all, but like even that was like only like there was like three students, and it was it was an after school program, so most students couldn't do it because of family reasons or like they just couldn't stay as long. It was
I
like
just didn't
it was
want to.
kind of yeah, it was brushed to the side basically. It wasn't really anything that was that crazy. I got a trophy for it though. I got a little trophy, but that was about it.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they give me a little flame trophy for being a part of it. But that was about it. But yeah,
Well, I think
mm,
at the time, well, why that my high school was or not my high school, my middle school was so different was
what's
because
up, man?
it was like top two middle schools in Brooklyn.
Nice. So yeah, how do you feel? Because you seem like you have like a more prestigious middle school. So how do you feel like education system was? How you feel like education system was for you from like going from middle school going to high school? Because were they vastly different from elementary school to like middle school to high school for you?
Honestly, so my transition, um, I went from a specialized like middle school program to a specialized high school program in what was it, humanities in my high school. Yeah, it was humanities, and
Yeah.
then so the thing about it was there was actually no difference to me,
Oh.
because so I took geometry in middle school. No, I took algebra in middle school, and then I took a geometry freshman year, and then I took trig sophomore year. Then I didn't have to take math for like my last 2 years, but I took some extra math courses for credits. Uh, there wasn't like anything too crazy in like changing from middle school to high school for me personally, because I was always doing like that high school level work. Uh, that it was all just like the social aspects that really changed.
Oh, okay. So you feel like it was more like the teachers and the students and the atmosphere rather than the actual system you were learning.
But I like, okay, I still think the education system is flawed because
Mm. Yeah, you get into your reason for it because you haven't gone into your reason yet.
so in middle school, every other class I was hitting like 90s, 95s, and then
Yeah.
I was actually really really bad at algebra for some particular reason.
Okay.
Sorry, maybe I
Take
was
your
just
time,
being
bro.
stupid. Maybe I was just being lazy as a student.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, like I could not pass a single algebra test. And I was doing the homework, and then I came to my teacher for like help. And then he sent me to the students, and then the students, like obviously not a teacher, couldn't explain it better to me. So I like went back to him and stuff. And then
Yeah.
like the dude, I'll never forget his name. Right? I almost said it. I'm gonna call him Azir. I'm gonna call him
Azir.
Azir.
Okay. Okay.
Mr.
And
Azir was
this is middle school, right?
yeah. This is eighth grade
Okay.
algebra. I had to take the algebra regis. Luckily, I passed that shit with like an 80, even though I was like, I have no idea how I passed that shit with an 80. But
Nah,
God bless.
math be wilding sometimes, so I feel that.
Yeah. I think it's pass off to pass that test. But the teacher wouldn't help me. He sent me to the students, and the students like knew what they were doing, but they couldn't explain it to me any better. And I'm like, well, you're not helping me, and these other students that are supposed to like be better than this at me can't really help me because they're not teachers.
Right.
What the hell do I do? And then
They just say do this, and then oh, thank you. That really helped.
and and that was when I realized, like, yeah, these guys don't give a fuck about what I'm doing. Because if I was actually struggling and I really needed help, they were not there to help me.
Oh, look, we got a new person here, bro. Look, we got Crashrz finally showed up, bro.
Did he really? Oh,
My bad,
My
bro.
son?
This
Yeah,
man.
what was?
Where
Yeah,
is
you're bad, huh?
Crashrz?
Yeah,
What happened, bro? What happened?
I'm about to make cook for my grandma right now. They about to go out and make food.
Okay.
Oh, you
I was
could
watching-
Why are you cooking?
You could have just that.
Because my grandma, she needs vegetables. So like, I don't know. My aunt wanted to order from Popeyes, so I'm about to put on some vegetables.
All right, go cook them, bro. Go handle it.
I'm still good. What happened was I had to watch my little cousin, so I came out of nowhere.
I feel that. I thought it was something I had to do with parents because it just makes a lot of sense. Living in a black household, it's just how it is sometimes.
Bro, I don't make time.
And Hispanic households too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, nigga on the street.
Bro, it's just like you just time gotta work for you. I can't make time.
All right, but I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt Malik, but I just saw Crashrz there. Go ahead, man. Speak your shit, bro.
These guys aren't helping me. Like, clearly, I can't rely on these teachers. And now I'm gonna lie though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So like, is your
no. I feel like your question is gonna.
Yeah, like, do you feel like teachers are like the problem? Like, is that what you're trying to say? With school system? Okay.
No,
All right, go ahead.
So I think that. Well, okay, teachers can be the problem because there's definitely because whenever there's person-to-person interaction, there's always a possibility for a disconnect or someone not to understand each other.
Okay.
Like someone like a teacher could just be fed up that day, and then like
they're ready to fuck on anybody.
yeah, and then this kid who doesn't know any better doesn't like understand because he's like fucking 12.
Yeah,
is like Mr. Azir's a fucking dickhead.
and we have to understand that these guys are teaching the same subject like probably like 3 times in the same day. They're saying the same exact words 3 times the same day. Like that's very exhausting. Yeah.
No, and not even that. Like as kids, these kids are like, why the fuck do I even have to go to school? And they're straight disrespectful.
Niggas hated history in my school. They did not fuck with history at all. Or at least people were like, why you gotta learn about the past? The past already happened. And they would just start roasting the teacher.
I am one of those kids who hate history. Fuck history.
I hate
and then
history,
they would roast
the
fuck out of the teachers.
Fuck history. Holy
I hate
shit.
history, but not for that reason.
I will never be interested in history, and I until I just.
My problem with history is when they start teaching you like things that are like good to know about, but you don't need to know. Man. You know.
My problem with history, it's so fucking boring. That's what it. That's my problem with it.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? And like even with my major, I'm gonna keep it a buck. My major is extremely boring. All right. And that's how some people feel about history. It's just the thing. My problem with history is just that sometimes they teach you stuff that's like backhand knowledge. Like you don't really need to know it, but it's something like you can know. Like I think people should prioritize teaching what's important and what you need to know instead of like, here's some information, do what you want with
All
it.
right,
So you feel like that? You
so
feel,
what
you
I'm
feel like that's a
hearing,
flaw?
wait, what I'm
Yeah,
hearing right
I feel
now
like
from
that's a flaw with
Crashrz and
education.
Malik
Go
right
ahead.
now is it's not the education system, it's the teachers. It's the teachers.
Oh no no no
And
no
they're
no.
not based
I
on
The
think
formula?
the
it's no, it's
education system.
teachers. Just like how you mentioned it, Kelly.
No.
You said
Okay.
teachers. Maybe the
Yeah,
teachers might be the
yeah,
problem. That's the whole.
yeah.
That's a lot of that. The education system does know that there's teachers that aren't really like qualified, but they don't know that because they you put that they get the job right away. Like most things, like most people, like most
Mm,
jobs do. You don't know you're
yeah,
qualified until you do it, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
And of
Um,
course, 1 billion% of it is due to the fact that they're not being paid right either. They're getting paid
yeah,
like minimum
they're
wage
gonna so
to do God's work, basically. Yeah.
there's certain teachers who are like that love their job, that love teaching, and there's teachers who's just doing it because they had a like a light for it in the beginning of the time, but as the year goes on, they get tired of it, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
there's one thing that they do teach like upcoming teachers such as myself is that you need to learn like well first they tell you it's like it might not be possible most of the times that you can teach everybody,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're trying to teach teachers so many methods that to teach everybody because you can't just teach one student by yourself. You can't teach a whole class except for one student. And that's probably what Malik had, where that one teacher didn't know how to teach Malik because he was a unique case, where everyone else understood it in generally.
Oh, you dumb, bro.
Not he's not dumb. Like a lot of people don't.
Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, a lot of people don't a lot
My
of
man
people
Malik
learn
got
differently.
90s.
There's people who learn it from visually. There's people who learn it by reading, by doing their own work, by researching it like from other people's point of views. And that's what
But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it comes.
sounds like a statement of
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you teach,
But you
not
can't.
really
Yo,
what
actually-
you teach.
But that's the thing.
Actually,
you
yo,
can't
yo.
blame the education system if the education system isn't teaching you. It's the teachers that are teaching you. And
Let me
Mm.
The only thing that you can blame-
Wait. Let me think of Malik's fault. You're buzzing on, bro. Go ahead, Malik.
Facts,
Go,
facts,
go
facts.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yo, that,
Finish it,
that
bro.
same teacher though, that same teacher, by the way, he gave us a test at the beginning of the year.
Oh, the evaluation test?
Yeah, the evaluations, the auditory, the visual, and the kinetic learners.
Yeah,
Took
yeah,
that shit
yeah.
at the beginning of the year. You know what he did with it? Absolutely nothing.
Do that shit in the
yeah, I'm
garbage.
telling you, they don't.
Now,
it's-
no. But
That was for
But
you,
that's
not
just-
for him, nigga. That was for you, not for him.
but that's just an example of like
yeah.
of a bad teacher. I
yeah,
like
that's a bad teacher.
in terms of the education system being flawed. I have other like reasons why, but
Okay.
we'll get into that.
Yeah. But do you want to go back and let like Crashrz answer the first question? Because he answered the second question.
Nah, he
already.
came late. That's his fault.
Okay.
That's
All
fair.
right,
That's
all
fair.
right.
We'll give him his own interview at the end. Okay. So.
All right, sure. We'll move on to question number 3 then. Unless Malik has something to say about it, like his final points about question 2. Then do you want to talk about it before we move on to question 3, Malik?
Oh yeah. I mean, like aside from the experience with a teacher, I realized that like fucking the education system was wrong. At least history classes were wrong when I learned about the Civil War in like 3rd grade, 8th grade, and then like 11th grade, and I'm like,
They lie
okay,
about that shit.
yeah, and then like you get out now, and it's like, okay, there's even more shit that they didn't teach me that sounded really important.
Yeah.
Like, what was the reason for keeping things under wraps?
Facts.
But
Bro.
Fuck
but
it.
aside from that, yeah,
You-
it's like
you-
they try to cover a whole lot of bases, and like your 5 major fields: history, math, English, science.
Yeah.
Did I miss one? Yeah. So they try to cover all 5 of like the base points.
I guess English
then-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't really give you options. It just like comes in at one time. Like maybe there's something that's more interesting to me that I'd like to do like before I get to this other shit. And then because I don't get the choice, I'm like sick and tired of school before I get to anything that I wanted to learn. And
Yeah.
I'm like, they killed the experience for me before I got the chance to enjoy it. Unless I was lucky enough to enjoy the classes I had.
Mm-hmm.
Malik, mind if I build off of you?
Go ahead, my nigga.
So, I 100% agree with that. But what I think is what makes it more flawed is just that within each high school or middle school, whatever, in terms of the education system, like there's no like you know how they get like a prerequisite for like what they're supposed to cover, but like within each school, that's different. It's not the same. It's not standard throughout.
Yeah.
Someone had a really interesting question in the chat talking about like why do they tone down history for younger people, right? That's basically what he's trying to
Well,
say.
I mean, to
And
me, I think it's because you
what's
don't
up,
want
man?
to like traumatize some kids. You want to at least try to water it down for. I
Nah,
get,
that's BS. I
I
don't.
get that you want to be realistic. Even like people always say, you gotta be true. You gotta be real with even the younger kids. But at the end of
Yeah,
the day, these kids, like I work with kids, I understand it, so I have my own point of view. They ask me certain questions such as, "What are Nazis?" Right?
hmm
Or like other like these dark stuff because they don't know about it. And if I
yeah,
tell them,
yeah,
they're so curious, then they start telling the parents, and then it's over. And
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing. It's like at the end of the day, they're trying to satisfy the parents because that's their kids at the end of the day. They're trying to make sure everything's okay, and they're not trying to like be traumatized. They're not trying to go too deep with those type of
yeah, yeah,
subjects.
yeah.
And I get it. You want to
hmm
be like I said before. You want to be real with kids all the time,
Yeah,
but there's certain limits you can't break. You can't like, cause at the end of the day, they're gonna get older, and there's always a time and a place to tell somebody
Bro, yeah.
stuff like that,
yeah.
which
And I
is
think it's also like
which is
going
older
off of like
students.
slavery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
going off of like slavery as well, like because that's a really crucial topic. They do bring it up a little bit in like third grade, but they don't go into detail about it because like there are some students there who could be dark skinned, and I was one of those students where like my teacher, she was like super real about it. She said she spoke about slavery when I was in third grade. I was like what, like I guess 7 years old, 8 years old. So like she didn't like follow the rules where they had to keep it like more muddled. She just said it straight up, and I was like, wait a minute, we were slaves, and like you have all these white students who just look at you different now, but like they like now view you as like at one point in time they owned you or whatever, right? Of course, that's not how it is right now. It's been nearly 100 years since that last happened. But because they're a color and we're a color, like that kind of like gets into their minds, and then they start thinking like, oh, maybe we can mistreat these students now because of how we learned about this history, and that's kind of fucked up in that way. So I agree with Leo about the idea of not exposing it so early to younger kids. Yeah,
That's
that
all.
makes sense. Makes sense. They're not ready for it. Like, what are they gonna do with that information? They're just gonna start bullying kids, or they're gonna just take it really. I don't know. It's a lot. It's just like we don't like they're kids. Let them have their innocence. Like, I don't think it's right to like remove the innocence that early.
There's another question. I mean, it's not a question, but he says, "Oh well,
Yeah,
you
you
guys can
follow
read."
up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From what I'll just read it. Yeah, but can you? He says, yeah, but you can say the same thing about sexuality, but the empirical data shows that it's useful to teach kids about sex earlier so that they can do things that identify and explain sexual abuse. That is completely, that's true. So that I said this in
Okay.
backwards, where I said how it's not teachers like where they're teaching upcoming teachers how to teach everybody something, like in a certain teacher learning point. You can't,
hmm
but that's the same thing with. This is where I think the education is. I guess I say quote unquote flawed, where
Yeah.
you can't, and it's impossible. You can't teach everybody everything.
Yeah.
You
People
can't.
take things differently.
Yeah,
They absorb information differently.
you
Yeah.
can't teach everybody everything. They have to grow up in a certain environment, and this is where people will say, "Oh," or the teachers will say, "That's the parents' job." Some students don't grow up with parents, and that's where people need to real. That's where the education is a little flawed because they don't see that. They try to put it at the general state, the majority. If you're born with a parent, or if you have a guardian, that's where you learn it from. If your guardian
Yeah.
didn't go
Yeah.
to school, then you gotta find your that's your environment now. They're not trying to, they're still working on it, and because there's always a situation with a child. There's a child who's curious about something, but no one can relate to him in that school. That kid doesn't come
Oh
out with
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's all these variables that certain things can't be solved
Yeah.
because
Or when the child has like a woke parent who tells them everything when they're
yeah,
younger. Like
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, that part is crazy because they be like going crazy, like, "Oh, did you know that this happened? Do you know that this happened? Do you know like Hitler was alive and this happened with these people?"
Yep.
Like, they just go ham. Like, bro, chill out. Like, it ain't that serious yet. They're like, yeah,
And
yeah,
can
but I
you
get it.
but can you blame the education system for that things like if for like sexuality versus learning about race? Can you blame
Mm.
a child for how they learned it from their parents?
Um, it depends.
Can you blame the education
Uh,
system for that? Because I
no,
mean,
no, of course not.
in
That's
the
out
end
of their
in the
hands.
end of the day, they have a certain stamp. They have a certain thing they have to teach, right?
Yeah.
They can go further beyond that, but then they'll be back behind, and there's other variables not only besides sexuality and race, and everyone knows that already, like disabled kids, let's say culture as well, all of this.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I learned about sexuality like when I was in middle school. I think we started learning like sex ed like in
You
seventh
learn it at
grade.
health, yeah, like
So
I
we
said,
learned it super
it's a
young.
time and a place
Yeah,
that they feel like the
yeah,
students are ready. It's the same thing with
yeah.
parents will feel like this is when their kids are
Hmm.
ready to learn it.
Yeah. Back in my high school, they would have us like watch homosexual movies, like not like porn videos, but they would have us like watch like movies about like starring a main character who was gay and like living the life of a homosexual. So that we felt less like we felt more relatable to people who are like those like groups, you know. And I felt like that was good and bad because some of like the students there kind of like laughed about it and they were kind of like making jokes because they were forced to watch it. It didn't feel organic to them.
Yeah.
Some students didn't take it the way they had to take it. It was more like just them having a chance to like just watch a movie and laugh about it. So it worked both ways.
For me, I actually had an interesting experience with that. So like, unlike Kelly, like
What's up?
I was like growing up, especially when I was around middle school, I was kind of oblivious to things because like that's just how I was like the environment I was grew up. I wasn't really exposed to that, but like my first introduction to that topic was around in like middle school. It was my English teacher, and she asked, "Would you be friends with a gay friend, right? With a gay person or whatever?" And then that's when my first introduction into like what these different topics are, because like I said, I grew up kind of oblivious to things like that, and like that one instance was where like we generally had like a conversation about topics like this. So like for me, it wasn't really something I was taught. It's more of a discussion that we had around the class. Like everybody had different opinions.
Yeah.
Like I remember his name doesn't even matter. Let's just call him Carl.
Fabio? Oh, okay, whatever.
And he was like, nah. And she was like, why? She was like, because he's gay. But like, what does that have to do with anything? And that was just like our just first introduction into like topics like that.
Oh, man, fact. What's up?
Oh, I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, what's up?
I mean, it's still cool.
Yeah.
I know the word. That word, first word. I can never say it. Fuck. Say though. I can't say it. It's hard for me to say it.
Pseudo.
Yeah, pseudo.
Oh.
I can never say that word. It's like so hard every time I see it, but I know what it is.
I was wondering, like, what did he mean by pseudo wholesome? Like, what's going on here? Like, what part of it is not pseudo?
Okay.
Whatever.
Sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off, Crashrz.
Go ahead, Grant. Get on that, bro. Get in your box, bro.
That was my first.
Fake wholesome.
Like it wasn't a movie or anything. It was just more like a topic that brought forth discussion. And then that was also around the same time the Baltimore riots were happening. So like, especially with my English teacher, like she honestly was the first introduction or like person I met that really like, I'd say opened my perspective. Because like I said, I was like an oblivious kid.
Yeah. But I guess we move on to the next question, right?
Yes, we can.
Wait, yo! I got.
Fuck.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it, bro. Go on. Go off, bro.
Do you guys ever have, or can you remember what your first black male teacher was?
Male teacher?
Sure.
Teacher?
Black male.
High school. My third year of high school. Mr. Soccer. We'll call him Soccer. Mr. Soccer.
Teacher. I actually do. It was my math teacher in middle school.
I had my 6th grade gym teacher, Mr. Legos, and everyone loved him. My second one was middle school. My 8th grade math teacher. Oh no, sorry,
Yeah.
7th grade math teacher. For 7th grade and 8th grade, the main math teacher was black. And they were both.
What are you getting at with this, Malik? What you trying to say, bro?
Nah, cause think about it. Like, I've had white women teaching me since like forever, and I've had I get the occasional black teachers, but I've only had 2 black male teachers in my entire like school career. 3 if you count gym.
For elementary school, all my teachers were Hispanic. Because where I live is a very Hispanic neighborhood, so they would want to have Hispanics there.
Weren't you?
I'm in Bushwick.
Weren't you an immigrant?
Who, me? No, I'm not an immigrant. What? My parents are.
I thought you were born in.
No, my parents were born in Ecuador, and my brothers, not me.
Okay.
And what is it? My middle school, it was like half white, half black. Barely any Hispanics, besides the Spanish teacher, obviously. And then high school is a majority of black teachers.
I think the only Hispanic teacher I've ever had was my Spanish teacher. And in high school, I had Spanish in middle school, and you won't believe this. My Spanish teacher in middle school was Italian, and when I got to high school for Spanish class, my teachers roasted me. They're like, "Who the fuck taught you this shit?" I was like,
An
"My teacher
Italian
was
man.
Italian," and she,
Italian.
you know what they all said? They all fucking like sucked it. They did the
Oh yes.
and shook their head, bro. I was I was dying.
Kind of wild. All right, let's go to the next question. Wait, we did that. When did you? What was your worst? Did we say what was your? Okay, what was your worst? Did we do that one? What was your worst experience you had? Okay, what was your worst school experience you had personally or heard from someone? My
Worst school
Well,
experience.
okay. Does this have to be like referring to teachers or referring to like the
I
students?
guess like it's school itself. Like it has to relate with I guess education.
Yeah, it should relate to education.
You
It
can
should be
even you
more
can
like
say
focused on
even
that.
I guess you can even consider bullying as well if you ever been bullied. Um, that worst school experience you had personally or heard from or someone. Oh fuck, I had so many. I can't even. Especially in college, especially in Alfred. Alfred, I don't even consider Alfred a school. I don't know what they think they're doing over there.
But actually, I know my worst experience. Yeah, Alfred
Yeah.
and freaking Law. Bro, that got me so upset.
Do you want to speak your shit, bro?
Oh yeah, what he did,
Oh.
bro? What he did.
When this man Law taught us SQL, right? A database language on a platform that was made like 20 years ago, right? So it's not applicable to any form of like everyday usage. So he basically taught us something irrelevant that we did not need to know for a whole semester.
Law's the was he was speech, right? Or is it someone else?
Nah, he's coding.
He's
He's
coding.
coding.
I heard. Okay, yeah,
So
I heard
he,
the name.
he
From
taught,
my
taught us
friend
the language
before.
SQL using Access, a platform that was created like over 20 years ago that nobody uses today.
I heard Barenbaum was worse. But all right. That's your worst. Okay, so for me,
Low
it's
key, they're all
I mean,
bad.
like yeah, 'cause-
Look, all right. We roast the entire Alfred staff. I honestly hated my math my math professors in Alfred as well, except for one. He was cool. Um, my worst experience doesn't have to do with like learning or something like that. It's mainly with my major. I wanted to go to. I don't know if I ever told the story here, but I wanted to go to. I was an electrical engineering at first for my first semester,
Ah.
and the reason I changed, well, I wanted to do something that was based on math and science. Like I was really interested in scientific stuff that was like physics. I liked the idea of physics and how to make things work. So I was like, oh, let me do electrical engineering.
Facts.
Because I forgot what was the program over there was called. Ah, damn, it was for like the poor kids who had potential. Fuck, me and Devon was in it. Ah, damn it. Well, whatever. It was something like that, and they changed up your schedule. You had to have this certain class for your
oh,
freshman.
is it Aesop?
What was it called?
Aesop?
ASOP? I don't think it was.
No, that's the new one.
That's a new one.
Something
Okay, so it's like there's something. There's two, but I was in the other one, and I think it had an E, like starting it. But anyway.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
ESA or something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was part of it, and I had to have this class. They were mandatory for all those students to have that class, and they basically replaced my lab class for that course for one of my lab classes. Now, being a freshman, I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know how college works. I'm like, all right, let's run with it, right? One of my courses for electrical engineering required me to take the lab, but I didn't know that obviously until the midterm, where he started saying everything you learn from the lab you're gonna need for the midterm and for furthermore in the classes. And I'm like, what the fuck? What lab? What are you saying? And then one of my suite mates, he was like, "Oh, you did the lab homework?" And I'm like, for the like I had another lab, and I was like, "You mean this lab?" And he was like, "No, for 1111." And then I'm like, "No." And I asked my my advisor at the time, and he was like, "Oh, it's kind of too late. You can't add the courses, and whoever told you didn't need it is a liar, because the person who told me who didn't need it was my professor." I like because I asked him in the beginning of the class, like when I once I first learned about it, I immediately went to him like, "Do I need this course?" And he was like, "No, you don't need to pass it." I'm like, "Okay." Now
He lied to you.
I know he did lie to me, so I struggled the crap out of that class, but I still passed. But the reason why I changed my major was because at the end of the semester, I was making my schedule, and I wasn't worried too much that I wasn't able to take the lab because I was like, oh, I can take it next semester. Then they hit me with the, you can't take the lab without the lecture, so take the lecture again. And I'm like, but I passed it. Can I just take the lab next semester? They were like, nope. And then I had to, I was just like, I was just blown out of my mind because I didn't know what to do at that part, and I didn't want, I was like, you know what? I give up on electrical engineering. I can't. It's already stressful as it is. It's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. I was only good at things that factories were able to do by themselves, like stuff like that, and I was good at the equations, but learning about these pieces and all that stuff, I'd rather just switch majors. I can't spend more money. I can't do this. I'm already broke.
I have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
Do you think you could be better off learning that at a trade school?
Wait, what happened?
Do you think you'd be better off learning something like that at a trade school?
At a trade school?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like I honestly like the like Alfred professors. I hear that all the same. They're not. They're not good. They don't teach you anything. They don't. They like just. And they also told me that too in Alfred, where I was supposed to already have knowledge of electrical engineering if I want to be in that major. Sadly, my high school did not have any engineering courses like that, so I was already in a tough situation.
Mm.
So um, that's not my only experience. There's another experience that most people remember. My final year, where I just like lost my mind. I don't know if
Oh yeah,
I don't know if Kelly Malik remembers that, where I just like died.
I
Yeah, I
do
remember
remember.
I
that.
just
I
I
like
remember that.
100%
Yeah.
remember.
my mentality exploded. I started like I was freaking out most of the time because of my what happened with my major. What was it, my major? I forgot what I actually. Fuck. I should remember. It was a traumatizing experience for me. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Something to do with credits,
Yeah,
right?
it
It
was
was
my
something to
yes,
do with
yes,
credits.
it was my credits. So basically, what happened was another bad experience. My final year, at Alfred. I'm gonna graduate. I was gonna graduate. I had to get my degree at the end. I get my degree after summer because I already planned it. I usually plan everything in the future, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this last course in summer, right? Then my professor hits me with the so I look at my degree works before my last year, before my last semester, because I want to see what courses I have to take. And then they said it was some course, I forgot what. I think it was statistics that was on it, but my advisor tells me I need to take another course called what was it, fuck, it starts with a D, not differentiate. But yeah, I was supposed to he made me take another math course that I wasn't supposed to take, that wasn't in my degree works. And then the last at the I told him, and what do I know? I'm not the advisor. Maybe they did. Maybe he's right. Maybe they did change it, or maybe that my other advisor were lying to me. Who knows? So then at the end of the semester, they tell me, oh, my advisor said, wait, something's wrong. You're still missing one more course. You can't graduate. I'm like, what do you mean? And then he was like, yeah, you're missing statistics. And I'm like, but you told me I wasn't supposed to take that. You made me take this other class that I hate so much. I ended up like because it was he said that he can try to have it like replaced, like the course I had now with the other course, but he couldn't do that for But I was worried even more because that was the class I was supposed to take was a 4 credit class. The one I was taking now was a 3 credit class. So I'm here looking at my odds like Fuck. And in the end of the day, I find out my advisor did nothing for me. He didn't even try. He said he would. He didn't even try. The person who helped me out was my other advisor from that one program I was mentioning, because they still kept in contact with me after my first year. You know, but
Nah,
during that time, I just
that's
I
super
just
relatable.
yeah, I just blew out I just like exploded. My head just exploded from during that time because I didn't know if I was gonna graduate. I wanted to leave Alfred so badly.
Why?
But yeah, those are my experiences. How about you guys?
Yeah.
I think mine is kind of similar, so I'll go after you. Like when it happened, like I graduated like one semester of last year, so I recently graduated, and I used DegreeWorks to figure out how I'm supposed to graduate because I have a whole algorithm showing you when you graduate, showing you the whole percentage thing, right? And like on the DegreeWorks page, it says that I need 120 credits to graduate, right? But that was wrong. The official number was actually 122, and they never told me that. So I was like doing the class. I had six classes in my last semester because I had it all planned out like you did. So I was like, okay, I'll take 6 classes in the winter, and I'll graduate in the winter. And they were like, oh, Kelly, by the way, halfway through the semester, you need blank more credits to graduate. I'm like, bro, like you don't think I should have known this? Like maybe my freshman year, maybe it should have been on the documentation. Like why do only the advisors know about it, but they don't tell the students? Like it's on your software. If your software says 20 credits, 120 credits to graduate, why is it not 122 credits? Like why is it not the right number? Right? So like basically, long story short, I was able to get a waiver to like use an old class that I had. Like I had an old like environmental education class that I was able to transfer over to my new major, and they gave me those credits for that. But like if I didn't have that, I had to stay in Alfred for one more semester just for 2 credits. Like if I didn't have that class, so I was fucked. So I'm happy that I had that extra class, but that just shows how like I don't know if I would do it on purpose so you pay more money to stay there longer, but it's a really fucked up system. And like why the system where like I look up my classes where I'm supposed to like have an algorithm completely flawed. Like that's a horrible way of doing things. I feel like, especially if I'm paying
It
like
really is.
up the ass.
It's so bad because they can change it anytime they want to. They can
Yeah,
just add a course for you. They can take away a course for you. It's just stupid.
It is
And
stupid.
it's not only
it's
Alfred, honestly.
ridiculous.
I don't think it's just Alfred. I think it's just college in general. And they have
Yeah,
that
I think
power. They just want your money.
they're super sloppy. Like, and I think they're sloppy on purpose. I think it's definitely like a little bit of it is definitely like spiteful. Like they do it just because they want students to stay longer and then pay more. Like
But
it's
that's
all
not
there for a reason.
for me. At the very least, like even with all those problems, like it comes down to like how much are we really learning, right?
I'm not learning anything.
Exactly.
That was
For the
Crashr's whole
most
entire
part,
thing.
for the most part, right? Majority of when we're in college, like the amount of stuff we learn that's new, right, is kind of minuscule compared to what we kind of already know, right? Like I just feel like most of college is just the
Wait.
idolization of
I
the
just,
degree.
I just, I just, I just want you to put in the preface that you speak for yourself, because I know
All right,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah. So
of.
look, for me specifically, I feel like a lot of college is just an idolization of a degree, right? Especially where we're leading towards now. There's been a big uprise in boot camps, a big uprise in trade schools, and people like the actual requirements of getting a degree towards the requirements of actually landing a job is not like it doesn't equate right. Like I just feel like people are just getting a degree to get the degree.
Well,
That's
that, yeah,
100% facts.
yeah. That's people. That's what how people are feeling in this generation. They feel like because their parents or their people they look up to have degrees and they're making money and they feel like they can do it too if they get that degree. But yeah, that's degree is basically a sign of you did it. You got the signature. You're ready. And some people may say that I don't know. Some maybe people will be like, I don't need a degree. Why would I need a degree when I know that I'm ready? Well, how can you prove it? You need that signature.
Actually,
You know,
there's bro. I'm about to.
I
Anyway,
mean, like you can go up to
look,
a
so
job
like
and say, "Let me give me the job right now, and I'll prove
no,
it."
no,
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 they
no.
don't
So
require
for
degrees.
the simplest way I can describe it, right, is like even let's say you're an art major, right? You have a portfolio of your work. Like when it comes to your credibility, you use instances where you show that credibility, whether that's a portfolio whether that's a work history or whether that's a contact. That's usually how you show credibility, even with the college degree. Because most of the times, like let's say, even with my major, even if you have the degree, you still have to take a test. You still
That's
have to take
facts.
an interview.
That's facts.
You still have to show some form of work to show that you can do it. So the degree alone does not help you.
That's facts. I also had to take a test. Someone mentioned about learning. Actually, is everyone done with the question? I don't think Malik did
I
yet.
think so.
I don't think Malik, you did you?
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malik didn't go
Let's
yet.
hit Malik before we got to this.
All right.
About to roast Alfred with the same bullshit that they
Yeah,
did to
it's
you
just
guys.
Alfred. Yo, I'm telling you, it's just Alfred. I'm just kidding. It's not just Alfred, but Alfred is where most people get bad experiences.
So I'm scrambling to graduate, right?
Mhm.
It's but I'm gonna use a different story because this one has to do with FAFSA, and that FAFSA is its own issue. So similar story. I'm trying to graduate, and I have to take a specific class, but because how am I gonna explain this? So I had a hold that didn't allow me to register for classes, and when I was calling the school would not like assist me at all in where the loan or where the hold was coming from or help me pay it off. Uh, so my classes got dropped in like spring of 20, not spring, uh, fall of 2020 or 2019, right? Going into 2020, and so I was trying to register for the class. So I was trying to register for this class once everything got resolved after like me spending 2 weeks trying to resolve it. And the single senior studio class that I needed to actually graduate, I couldn't register for, and I was going through my advisory and stuff, and they they were not trying to give me an override so that I could get in there so that I could graduate for some reason, and I had to take it up. I had to hit the I had my for some reason like they weren't doing it, and then I had to hit up the what do they call it, the dean,
Maybe
but
the director.
yeah, the director of the department.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
that makes sense.
and then she I went through my advisor, they couldn't do it, and he didn't do it, and then I went to the secretary, and then she couldn't do it, and then I went to the director, and like she finally gave me like a breathing room to work with, because the class that I was supposed to register in, even though I was registered in prior, when the classes got dropped from the hold, preventing me from registering, I could not register back because the class was full, and that was actually the only problem. So hold up, I gotta mute this because I'm echoing in my own ears. So when the time came, and I was speaking to the director, she was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? You really want to take this class?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, because it they don't teach it in spring, and then they don't teach it in summer or even winter or anything. So the only time I could take it was in the spring. So I would have had to stay like a whole other year. And for like 2 weeks, I was legit just panicking about why the fuck are they not giving me this class? The only class that I actually needed to take that semester.
Damn.
Nah, I get how you feel,
You know,
brother.
it's
I went
crazy.
through that same bullshit too, so I know how that feels.
Alfred is just wild.
But like, I guess, do you want to go to the next question? Do you want me to give you like a non-college version of this, or you feel like we're good?
I think
Non-college version?
we can end this episode at 7:30.
Okay, up to you guys. I don't mind.
Okay with that.
Wait, actually, I don't think I could do 7:30.
Oh yeah, you have Clash.
All
All
right.
right, let's just go to next. If we have time, we'll go back to it. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I forgot what we were talking about before that I want to talk about it, but we have a time limit, so we'll just go to the next question.
Yeah.
Looking back, which class felt worthless? Okay, so this one's a fast question.
Yeah. Pretty simple. On the nose.
Um,
Yeah. So like, what class felt worthless to you? Like, what do you feel like you didn't learn anything from? I can go first. What do you guys think?
Yeah, hit
Um,
I'm
when it comes,
hold up, yo. Let me just start off with
All
this
right.
shit.
oh
Bro.
yeah,
Go ahead,
go.
Malik.
Speaking, go
I
ahead,
just
bro.
want you to know when I took fucking Earth Science, I did not care about anything at
Same.
all, bro.
Bro, I kind of like Earth Science, bro.
But it
Bro,
wasn't worthless.
Earth
Metamorphosis,
sign?
bro. Or,
No.
igneous rocks,
It was kind of
metamorphosis,
lit though.
Sentiment.
You gotta learn what
Bro,
the
bro, I like
sedimentary
Earth
rocks.
Science, bro.
bro.
Sedimentary.
You get to learn about the dew point. Come on, bro. What's
Yeah,
up,
you
man?
can-
The
Yeah,
avidity. You
too,
know what I'm
bro.
saying?
Like
That shit kind of
bro,
important.
Earth Science is kind of lit. I'm not gonna hold
Now
you.
we know how geometry works. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Oh damn! I actually like this question. It's really very
Yeah, it kind of goes back to like your whole education.
As
I kind of
yeah.
get what
Go
Malik's saying though.
hit us, Kelly. With you. What was the worstest class for you?
All right, I'm gonna sound boring as fuck, but like the most worthless class for me was definitely like movie class.
Movie
Like I like in
class.
in my third year of
The
high school,
fuck?
I had film watching class.
I don't even
That's
count
I had
those.
film
I
watching
don't even
class.
count those. I
So
can't hold you.
we just watched movies all day, and then we just had like a little book report,
Yo,
like
that does
a
sound
one
like a
page book
worthless
report.
class.
And now I was like, what the fuck? And I hear my friends talk about, oh, I'm doing coding right now. I'm doing C with a math teacher. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? So you got coding, and I gotta
Oh,
do this
crazy.
random ass movie class? I was pissed. I was mad as shit, bro. So that was boring as shit.
How about you,
My teacher
Crashrz?
literally,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Go. No, go on. I didn't know you were.
My teacher would literally
In high
like
school?
yeah, in high school. I think it was called like theater evaluation class, something like that, like evaluating theater, understanding like how like cinematography and all that stuff. But it wasn't that at all. My teacher would like literally just put on a movie and go to sleep in the corner into the movie, and he legit would go to sleep, and then he'll wake up when the movie was ending. I was like, bro, this is wild. But yeah, that's how it was. What's up, Leo? Go ahead.
What about go? I'll go after, cause
Hmm?
I have a really thought about this. I have a thought about this question. What about you,
All right, go
Crashrz?
ahead, Crashrz.
So for me, it would probably be so like in high
He about
school.
to flame David Logan.
No. I'm talking about high school.
Hey, go ahead, bro.
In high school, we had this period that was dedicated towards like college stuff. You know, so like if we needed help with FAFSA or anything, or like college applications, whatever, yada yada yada. In the beginning, right, it seemed like a good idea, except two things. One, all that stuff was kind of done in the beginning of the year, and two, they didn't really help us with anything. So it kind of defeated the purpose. So they basically made a period for us to just sit there.
Facts.
Like we could have easily left college. I mean, left high school, because like you know how like if you're basically an adult at that point, right? Most of us were 18. We could literally just leave, and it was at the end of the day. They just gave us a period to just sit, just because, and it
So now
didn't
you're-
help whatsoever.
That's wild.
Okay, so for me, all right. So I honestly, like I said before, I consider my school. It wasn't really good. My high school. We didn't have these type of programmings like movies. I mean, classes like movies, engineering, coding. They didn't have that much. They had a computer class, but that's about it.
Hmm.
I had a financial aid class as well, but it was considered as my English class as well. So we had it was at
Oh.
at the end of winter.
Wait.
Yeah, so like let me explain it. So
Bro. It was half and half.
so once you hit we had the honor kids, right?
Yeah.
And they considered honor kids based on your English teacher, right?
That's
So
dumb.
the English teachers were your honor your classroom, your your headmaster, your head
Oh, okay.
whatever.
Your
Right?
homeroom teacher.
Your homeroom teacher, yes. Your homeroom teacher was always an English teacher, one of the English teachers, right? There's two
Okay,
honor
okay.
classes. As you go up the grades, you hit the AP courses. Honor classes don't exist. Now there's AP courses, right?
Yeah.
Because I had to still take an English class, and one of the AP courses wasn't considered as one of the AP English classes wasn't considered as an English course for high school level, since it was for
Yeah.
college. I still had to take the regular English class, and because they were like, "Oh, most of you guys are in AP, let's just do financial aid at the end of the winter instead of continuing the English because I only had that class for only one semester.
Yeah.
I didn't have it for the
Yeah.
next one because I had my AP course still.
Yeah.
Unlike Crashrz, I didn't learn it from I didn't learn finance like FAFSA at the beginning of the semesters because we had English.
Mm.
That's crazy.
I can't say
I
that
guess that
was.
happened to all
I
of us
would
then,
say that
yeah.
was a worthless class, but because we had English for the majority of part of it, and I did learn something from it, it's not worthless.
Yeah.
But learning that part was so bad because my teacher decides to help
Hmm.
everyone else but me, cause
Yikes.
he even asks who's planning to go to college. Out of me and like maybe 10 other kids raised their hand.
Yeah, yeah.
He helped everyone who was not planning to go to college. I'm like, yo, I don't understand any of this. I don't
Bro,
understand. That's why I still don't understand FAFSA, because no
he's
one
like
taught
Bro,
me.
Leo,
he's
you know
on
what's
he's
funny?
on his king shit, bro. He's trying to help
Wait,
the people who don't want to go to
I
college go
know,
to
but like
college.
Leo, you know what's funny?
no one taught
My
me.
teacher was the exact opposite.
No one taught me. No one taught me FAFSA. I'm lost. He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
what's the fuck is an income? Where do I get this? Like, where's my what is a W whatever 14? What is
A
that?
W-2, yeah. A W-2.
Yeah, I'm like, what are these letters? I don't know where do I get them, and they don't answer me. And I'm like, I'm
My
here.
guy kind of taught me that.
Yeah, but no one's here teaching me. So I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lost. I'm like, and everyone's always telling me. My family's like, oh, learn it by yourself. You got to read. I'm like, I'm reading it, but I
That's
don't
wild.
understand. Um, but yeah. So, but like for my opinion on this question
That was
is,
really bad.
I don't really
Yeah.
have. I don't really feel like a class is worthless. Like I do hate certain classes, but I never feel that they're worthless. I just feel like I could learn. I can learn it. I feel like anyone can learn something, depending how they like. If they can, if someone could teach them, if someone in the world can teach them it, that means they can learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like I hate history. I don't think history is useless. I mean, eh, eh. People.
It's more so
The
what's
idea,
practical.
the idea of history, well, the idea of the class of history is that they don't want to repeat the same mistake. That's what they teach you.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Why
Yeah.
they
I
teach
agree with that.
history. They don't want kids to make the same mistake. I just hated history itself. I couldn't memorize anything. I still can't memorize
Yeah.
anything. The words, it just hurts me. Uh, one thing I do, one thing I did, like, remember how I said I thought I was an average kid, and I also didn't like when people thought I was smart in high school.
Yeah.
Just because of my GPA and all that, and the one thing I used to show that I wasn't that like the incredible smart kid was the history regions. Only regions in the world that I failed twice, or even failed once. I failed it twice, and I hated U.S. history. I just could not do it. But it goes back to do I feel like a class is worthless? I felt like maybe I wasn't learning it because I wasn't like not the teacher's fault. The teacher was a great teacher. I just felt
Mhm.
like it wasn't for me. I wasn't like focusing on it. Like I couldn't like put myself to work because it wasn't interesting to me.
Mm.
Is it
Now,
worthless? No, other people utilize it great. That's how people become who they are. They learn through history. They learn
yeah.
their ancestors. They learn about what happened with them. A lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you're part of like the average though, because I remember when I was in high school and we were taking U.S. history regions, not U.S. history, we were taking global history regions. Like I think the percentage of people failing it the first time was like 70. Like it was a high ass
that's
number,
crazy.
Yeah, it was
like
high.
God
worldwide.
damn.
You know why that's
Yeah,
crazy? Everyone in the honor class but me passed history, passed U.S. history.
yeah. History is like super contentious. People usually fail it the first time.
But
The whole
but like
world.
I
yeah,
thought I
but
was gonna fail it, and I passed it.
I just felt that I was so dumb about that because everyone, like I
Yeah,
said, like the school is small, but everyone in the honor classes did pass the U.S.
mm.
history, and
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't tell anyone because I at the time I was like, damn, I'm like an idiot.
I don't want this clout.
Yeah, I don't want this clown. Because
Yeah,
everyone kept coming up to me. They're like, "Oh, Leo's smart, he's also nice. He lets everyone, he'll let you copy his homework, or he doesn't care if you just look at his tests." And I'm like, I don't care if you get caught. That's not my
yeah.
fault.
I'm not trying to. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not like I don't care. You want to see it, but if you get caught, not my fault. But things like that. Oh,
damn.
thanks for the subscription, actually, Chris.
Oh,
Yo, we got subs.
lit.
Thanks, we have subs.
We got subs, bro.
But yeah, that's my idea of
Thanks,
worthless
Chris.
classes. Let's go on to the next question for Chris. All right. If you could go back in time, which classes would you like to learn? Which classes do you feel are actually appropriate for going into your adulthood? For example,
Yeah.
tech classes or social networking?
Yeah, like tax classes, social networking, stuff like that. Like how to build up your credit. Like those type of classes I'm talking about. Like what would you like be a class, fictional or real, that you'd like to have in an actual high school setting?
Finance.
Interesting.
Yeah, anyone can go if they want. It's just the idea of that, because I know there's a lot of classes in high school. Like for them, we just went over worthless classes. What would we like to learn if we were in high school before we went to college? Like stuff that would help
Before
us
I went to
personally.
college.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that one.
that's
Before I
high
went to
school. Is
college.
there high school is designed to make you get ready for college. So like you think that has
Oh, the real
classes
world.
prepared for that aspect, or even the real world in general. Yeah, like what would you like to learn before you left high school if you could have learned something in high school?
It doesn't. I already have my answer up. I know what I'm gonna say, and it's quick too. It's fine. It's
All right, go ahead.
finances. Anything with FAFSA, anything with taxes, because I still don't know anything about that. Like I don't know how that works.
Okay.
Like anything with money that's related, like what I have, like how do I, like a credit score, how do I work on that, like all that other stuff. I feel like I
Yeah.
don't know anything like that. I'm afraid like once I get into it, who's gonna help me? How do I pay taxes? I understand that everything's online, but what's the website? What do certain words mean when I go to it? What are these forms that they're asking, etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That was my same answer.
Okay.
That was your institute. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
think
like
I
for
have
me,
similar ideas. Yeah.
for me though, it's different because like in general, like I'm kind of a frugal like spender. So like saving money is a problem with me. Like Leo is more so like taxes, how to learn them. But then the thing comes up of like you always hear the argument, that's something your parents could teach you. But then the same argument can be said like, who taught your parents? So like
Agree.
technically it comes down to like what knowledge do we need to know, and that's where I feel like schools aren't like set on. Like there's no set standard within each school. I do know some schools do go over somewhat of like financial, what do you call it, financial literacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
some
Yeah,
schools
yeah.
do teach financial literacy, but it's like how much of it do you need to know, and what could they teach you? Because like Leo said, like I don't know how to do my taxes. I don't know any of that, and I'm not gonna get it from my parents. So who's gonna end up teaching me? I'm gonna have to look it up, and if I end up making a mistake, I don't want the IRS knocking on my door. So
They gotta come frame one. They don't play around with
Wait,
that bullshit. They
okay,
come frame one.
Okay, well, but before I interject, Kelly, do you have like the same answer?
I think for me, like financial was a little easier because I had summer youth program and they taught me all that stuff. But like I think I would like to learn more networking, like because people always talk about, oh, when you go to college, always network. I'm like, nigga,
yo,
how?
I hate that statement.
like how do you network?
I
What do
just
you
hate
do?
that statement too.
People are like, oh, take your professor to dinner. Like, how do you get that? How do you get to do it when you ask your professor to go to dinner with him? Like these things don't happen naturally. So you have to like. I would have loved it. And there was like a little like after school class, or like a
Bro.
little like maybe 3 hour like course where they teach you how to do these networking things, these networking styles. How to impress your boss, how to make a good resume, how to like have a good cover letter, how to like impress, how to look better than your employees. Like that would be really cool to learn before you left college or before you left high school. I mean, Go ahead, Crashrz. You said.
Nah, I kind of lost my thought. It'll come to me.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Malik. You got it, bro.
So
It's all you, King.
see now this is where I say like I had really great teachers, right? Because I wanted to ask you guys if you guys took like a government and economics class in high school, because I'm pretty sure that was
No.
like a
I did.
staple.
I did.
You
But
did?
we learned like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I had.
Here,
No,
put it.
I don't
Oh,
think
sorry.
I have.
Well, in my high school, it was required. You had to take I think it was government and or economics, and then they had a class that was like both of them put together. But regardless, right? I took government and economics, and that taught. First of all, it taught the very like basics of the government, blah 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 blah. It also taught like the very grassroots beginning sides of taxes and stuff, and how that shit works, as well as another class I had called discrete math. And I don't think by any means that was like the class that really taught it. I think it was just like my teachers that taught it. So whenever people say like they needed a class for like taxes and stuff, I always try to tell them that like the stuff you actually needed to learn about taxes, you can learn in like a week. And at a class, actually having a class on that shit would be very, very much a waste of time. And not a waste of time because it's essential, right?
Repetitive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
repetitive.
very repetitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had a task class my last year, and I know how that feels. So yeah.
because you
Go
could
ahead,
learn
bro.
it all in a week. Like even
Yeah.
I'm saying a week and giving you like a generous amount of time.
Oh, you can learn that in 3 hours.
You
Like
can
high
learn
key.
the basics in one day, and then
Yeah. Yeah. A
if you're
1040 is
slower with it,
negligible.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but you're right. It's like access. Your parents might not know. It's very weird to talk to other people about that kind of stuff because they
Mhm.
might not know, and you'll pick up a whole lot of other bad habits. But it's the same thing with anything. But it's just that this is more sensitive.
Mhm.
So I mean I don't know. I think that they should definitely have a class that has like a week at the beginning and a week at the end
Yeah.
dedicated to that kind of stuff. But
Yeah. And this might
that's
sound
just
this might sound a little cancerous. I don't know if it is or not, but like if we can like force in sex ed and like these like general neutral like classes getting used to people who are different like sexual orientations, why can't we have classes that actually teach about the real world? Like you would think that that makes sense if we're gonna go progressive. Let's try to go like also in the sense of like let's allow these. Of course, you look at it from like if you look at it from a business point of view and from a marketing point of view, it makes sense to keep these students ignorant because when you're ignorant, you hire financial officers, you hire like accountants, you hire all these people to work for you, so they do it for you
You
way
pay
more
for what
times
you
than it has.
can't do.
Exactly. So they keep you ignorant for a reason because they know you're gonna have to pay. They want to keep the economy up, right? But like still, like I don't know, like it has a reason why they keep you ignorant, but it's fucked up regardless, right? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, everyone does their taxes. Taxes is beneficial for the government because taxes they're more beneficial to you if you're a small person because usually every single time you do tax, you're always gonna have a refund because it's kind of hard to not have a refund unless you're super rich. So
The thing
like
about a refund is it's money they took extra
yeah,
from you.
exactly. So it benefits them when you do taxes
It's not
wrong
like
because
you're
they owe you
gaining
less
it. They
money.
just took too much.
Yeah. If
Facts.
you do your taxes wrong and they owe you less, that's better for the government because they have to pay you less money. But if you do it all right, you get your money back in droves. So it all depends on like situation at hand. If you're really rich and you do your taxes wrong and you owe them a lot of money and you pay less than what you owe, they're gonna be mad as shit, of course. But if you get paid less than you owe, they're not gonna care because they paid you less. So it's kind of like a little bit double standards. So it's wild. It's wild.
definitely as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, but I get it.
hmm
All right.
Um,
I guess we're going to the next one. Actually, that's
yeah, I didn't.
oh, you didn't answer.
Yeah. What's up, Leo?
No,
I said I
you
didn't
didn't
answer the
answer yet.
question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I
Go
thought you
ahead.
did.
What did you class, bro?
Uh, hold up.
How to
Yeah,
be
Malik was
horny.
just flexing for like a good minute.
Facts.
He was just flexing.
How to be horny 101.
yeah,
That's sex ed.
Oh, you're
I
right.
mean, the number one class I definitely go back and learn though is and I said it earlier. They had like a discrete math class that I took, and it taught me a whole lot of like useful math tricks in general for like other math subjects in general. So like arithmetic, geometry, trigonometry. It taught me useful tricks for all of them. It taught me
Yeah.
a little bit about taxes. It taught me it was just a whole lot of useful things. I think you could actually even search up discrete math and hold on, let me type it. Discrete that
Yeah.
Okay.
So this,
discrete math is trash. No. That class
Um,
was useful. It's just the teacher that taught it was kind of
I want to say something
boring.
about discrete math. This is the class that I did that I wasn't supposed to take, but I did take. The professor I did like, I just didn't like the class. But discrete math is actually one of the classes I do respect, where I use that as an example of when people tell me why is math useful. Every discrete math is basically like why things work in math, but you can also use that in real life. Well, like if I drop my phone, what happens next? My phone breaks. Now, would it make sense if I say my phone broke, then I dropped it? See, it's like it's an order of what's happening in discrete. It's with the same thing with discrete math where they use like letters. Like if P doesn't go into Q, but Q goes into P. Stuff like that. Which I respect it. I just hated it because at the point where I had to start writing, I had to like write sentences, and I was like, "Fuck, I can barely speak English."
Yeah,
But I was that.
yeah.
All right, so we go to the next question. Um, if we were tasked with fixing the school system, what would we do?
Oh,
The big question.
Yeah, it can be small little changes. It doesn't be anything super like grand or whatever.
bro.
Anybody want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll
I
go
could
for.
go first.
Oh, you want to go first? Go ahead.
Um, Definitely the number one thing I'm thinking of is I would revamp like high school as a whole. Uh, what I would do is we could keep elementary and middle school the same, but I would give high school more of a college feel. Like you register for classes and you're uh like directly devoted towards learning something that you're interested in.
I agree with that.
Or not the teachers, but the advisors would be specifically focused in helping you as a person like find your interests and your talents so that you can go to college and then turn that into a career.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go next. I already have my answer. One thing I would be fix. I would. I don't think I can fix. I don't think it's hard to fix this. It's really hard. Something that I realized between all of us was that we were in different scenarios in high school, even though we live in the same state. Malik said that
Hmm.
he was in a great middle school, and then he had a high school, and then that you guys had all these courses, while me and Crashrz probably didn't have those courses. I think I'm just assuming
Well,
Crashrz.
I kind of had those courses, but it was like different.
Oh yeah,
Like,
okay. So like I didn't have like for me I didn't have like engineering. We didn't have these sub courses that we were able to take to find interests.
I didn't have it.
Um, that's one thing what I realized where obviously they're not gonna fund all the school the same way.
Yeah.
And they're not going to treat every student the same way because some students are actually trying and some students feel like
Don't care.
school's not for them, which that triggers me a little bit too. That word, that phrase in school's not for me. Um, depending who said it, at least depending who says it, it
Well,
doesn't trigger me.
that statement just means you haven't found what you want to learn. That's all.
Um, but okay, so like there's oh, well, I don't want to get into that, but I would later. The whole I want to fix that system though. I want to fix where schools are funding students so early that they want to strive to be better, that they want to strive to find an interest in them, because honestly I did not have an interest at all. I didn't know what I want to be. I had plans only. I was just like, all right, this seems like it's simple math, but what can I do with math? I couldn't think because I didn't have anyone to teach me what's out there for math. So all I knew was math teacher. And then electrical engineering was because one of my siblings was doing mechanical engineering. And I was like, oh, I want to do engineering. Well, the thing she's doing is pretty cool, but I want to do something different. So I chose electrical. And it's based on science too, so let's do that. That didn't work out, so I had a plan B. But yeah, I feel like schools aren't really working to put interests, and they're just utilizing their environment that they grow up in, like with their parents or what they see, or using these little trips that they do that doesn't work
Hmm.
to put interest in these students. Funding schools as well, like my school had nothing. Um, do I regret going to that school? No, I don't regret going to that school. I feel like every school makes you who you are today, and I don't regret myself. So stuff like that. Um, I want to fix the funding system. What about you, Malik and I mean Kelly and Crashers?
I could go
You want to
next.
go ahead, bro? You got it.
So for me, unlike the both of you, like what my high school had was out of everything a lot of connections. So like even with that financial literacy class I mentioned earlier, the way we actually learned was actually from the Y, like the YMCA. So like it made up for what my school lacked.
Wait,
Sorry, not
did
my
I just
grandma.
disconnect?
No, that was my grandma. Anyway, so like for me, what I fix instead is the connections that these schools have because I've learned like throughout high school that a lot of external resources are not also in touch with other colleges, or I mean, in touch with other high schools. Like the amount of resources that's applicable to one high school isn't the same for another. So other than just adding like courses, like I think Leo said that. Like, no, he said he wanted funding. But for me, I just revamped the how they get access to different types of resources. Because the way I got interested in technology wasn't within my school; it was with a event that one of my schools known about. So it was a form of outsourcing. So what I do is I outsource different events that would be applicable to like computer science, electrical engineering, nursing, whatever, and apply those within the high schools themselves. So the high schools aren't the ones that's essentially creating those events and outlooks. They'll be outreaching to them. So I'll
Um,
basically connect high schools to those sources for those learning purposes.
I want to connect. So like I said, it's based everything. I agree with that. I always think it's based on funding because
No, I agree.
everything I wanted to do in high school was canceled due to funding.
Yeah,
I couldn't
but
take a pre-calculus class because they didn't have enough money to support a class that was only with what 9 kids because only 9 kids were available for that, and they didn't want to put the time for it, and they thought it was useless if it's just 9 kids.
so
Um,
I agree with that. But for example, that's why I said like resources accessible to high schools are different because for example, I think it was like I just remember one of my friends, Patrick. He wanted to create a class that was kind of like that. But I just knew our high school didn't have it, so he came with a proposal to like our principal for creating that class using like Khan Academy or something. So it's more so like what
what the
resources do the schools have and
they
how
need a
do they
teach
work?
they need a teacher and they need to pay that teacher and then the teacher needs to have supplies for it, and you can just say it's just what a Khan Academy, so just the website and just that's it. They need the computers. They need new computers. They need a
No,
smart
no,
board.
I 100%
Yeah.
understand that. But what I'm saying is
Oh.
how they utilize because like it's different from paying a teacher, like a student saying he'll like create a like a quote unquote honors class using Khan Academy. They wouldn't really be paying a teacher, you know. They'll probably be a facilitator maybe, but like that resource to that education is still online. So all they be really paying for is like the computers themselves.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Funding.
so like the outsourcing of resources is different from you providing the resources, and it ends up being cheaper, and it offers different learning experiences. Because like I said, when I first got introduced to like coding and stuff, it wasn't within my school. It was an event outside of school, but I was
What school you went
introduced
to?
to it by my school.
What school you went to?
It was a high school in Harlem called Thurgood Marshall. So like
Dargan.
overall, it doesn't provide a lot, but what it does excel at, well, at least did, was the amount of connections it had. Like it had connections to the Y and new people. So like that's really how we got in touch with kind of with our community and other events.
Mm.
So because we had those connections, the school themselves didn't have to provide for it. They did. Like the Y provided access for us to do like what is it? Community service. It gave us like financial literacy. So like since the school didn't have to provide that, they just needed to give them a space for it. You just create those opportunities for other high schools, which would then, etc., revamp kind of the education system. It'll not really, I wouldn't say revamp it, but it help, I think, enhance it.
Yeah, they just need to be. They just gotta get accepted, which the education probably wouldn't accept because
Yeah,
they don't want. Like I said, it's based on what high school you're at or schools you're at.
no, that's true. That's true.
They don't want to care for the students that didn't try in middle school or quote unquote didn't try in middle school and didn't succeed or in something or didn't want to succeed or whatever they see it, who didn't succeed in middle school and then just place them in a average or below average high school, and they don't want to like. That's what I don't like. I want to like see how can they strive. Like I get it. They should have done it in the beginning, but people should have a second chance. Students should have a second chance to care for their future. or
But like,
at least care for what they want to do in their life. Yeah, but something like that. I think. Wait, Kelly, you're the last one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything I want to say before I go, Crashrz? I think you have something else you want to say, bro.
He wants to smoke your
No, that's just about it.
That's about it. All right. I'll keep mine quick. I think for me, like the biggest thing I want to change is I feel like a lot of school systems are very repetitive. You look at like middle school, high school, college, they all teach algebra, right? And like they teach the exact same way with the fractions, multiplication, division. They're all these very similar things. They just some of them add a little bit more to make it seem like it's extra, but it really is the same concept over and over again.
Yeah.
Just added with more work, right? So I feel like a way of making students more engaged is it's like limiting the repetitive nature of most courses. You know, like why do we need to have 8 English courses? Why do we need to have why do we need to have a college algebra and have an English algebra and have a middle school algebra? Like why don't things need to be there
facts.
when we can just have an algebra that's just there and it's because I learned algebra 3 times. I learned in middle school, learned in high school, learned in college, and
Yup.
I still don't remember what algebra is. I still don't
Wait,
know
did
what
you
it is.
take algebra too?
Oh, wait, well, that's even
That's
more,
true.
but
That's true.
but trigonometry is also in high school. So like the problem is that like these mathematical, and it's not only math, it's also science. They also have like earth science being taught in high school and taught in college. They have chemistry being taught in high school and being taught in college. Of course, chemistry is way harder in college, but it kind of negates college. It kind of negates high school's chemistry a little bit because it makes it so much more difficult. So I feel like in the general scheme of things, I think they should have the best versions of these courses in selective areas. If the best version of chemistry has to be done in college, then don't teach it in high school. What's the point if it's the worst version of it? It goes back to what Malik said before, how he felt like some of the teachers in early years were lying to him. Like, why lie to your students? Just give them the best they have now, and whatever they can't learn now, they'll learn later if they really want to. It
Facts.
goes back to that last aspect. Like I remember when I was in science class, I was in a normal generic science class for middle school, and like I had a test, and I got a 9 out of 10 on it because one of the questions asked, "What do they call Uranus?" And Uranus is the blue planet. So I was like, "Oh, they had like it was a multiple choice, and they had like one of the options was one of the options was the blue planet, one of the options was the living planet." Or well, no, they asked what do we call Earth? My bad. They said, "What do we call Earth?" Right? And one of the questions was one of the answers were the blue planet or the living planet. Right? I picked the living planet. Right? And I was like, oh, and it was wrong. The real answer for Earth was the blue planet, and I was like, nigga, isn't Earth blue? Like like Earth and Uranus are both blue, so why is it considered blue? Like, oh, because Earth is not the only living planet out there. There's other planets that have life, so this is the trick question then. Like regardless, like these things are just there for fluff. They're just there to make you think for like 5 minutes and then go away. Like, why we need to learn about Greek mythology in English? That doesn't really matter. Like, that's not really that big of a deal when we have literature in college. Like, what's the point? Like, why? Like, now when people always get mad about college being fluff because half the things we learn are things we learned in college and things we learned in high school and in middle school. So it's regurgitating the same knowledge all over again. So
Facts.
that's my biggest problem with school. Just stop teaching the same bullshit over and over again.
That's my whole thing. Actually, it's the
Yeah.
love of practicality that's within
Yeah.
education.
Use that time to teach actual real things. Like remove the algebra for the 5th time and put like I don't know a tax course. But like like I like the idea that Malik had before with the whole entire economy. Economy would be a fantastic thing to learn in high school because economy is how you make money. Like that's what every adult needs to learn. Adult needs to learn how to do economy. They need to learn taxes. They need to learn
At the
these
very
basic
least, they
things.
should teach taxes.
At the very least, taxes
At
or
the
like
very
a little bit of networking can be nice. Like these things are important for your system. Even like more language would be nice because learning more languages is never a bad thing. It's like having more like maybe having Indian, having Mandarin, having French, like very
okay.
popular
I had a
languages.
French teacher
That'd be
in
kind of
middle
cool.
school. That did not go well. I'm
I feel
just
like
keeping.
yeah, no, I feel that. I feel like
No,
language can be a little bit polarizing.
no, that's not why. Because I was in a class full of Haitians, and
Oh, they were on hand.
that don't mix. That don't mix.
Oh yeah, they probably getting mad as shit because they
No,
were
because their languages like derived from each other. So like,
Creole. Yeah,
I didn't learn a thing.
it
And
kind
it
of
helped.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say she was also like a racist French teacher, so like that
Yeah,
didn't help
nah.
either.
It's fucked up because people have a stereotype what they call Creole broken French or they call it like ghetto French. So I thought that might have been a really big talking point back in that class. Niggas roasting the fuck out of Creole for no reason. So I get it.
I
I feel that.
remember how I said one kid was French. and he was from
Mhm.
France. He did the same thing. He would like.
Yeah, because I think
Uh,
Creole is Spanish and French combined, and that's why they call it.
Their languages like derive from each other. So like I was
Yeah.
in a class full of Haitians being taught French by a racist French teacher.
Crazy.
Mhm. It's like being taught Spanish by Spain people. Like Spain, like
Yes.
this is the real
Yes.
version of Spanish.
Yes.
You
Yes.
peasant, you're a peasant Dominican, you're
Oh
a
my
peasant
God.
fucking Mexican.
I
Facts,
hate
facts.
that.
Yo, my Italian teacher had me using vosotros.
Oh no.
I went to high school. I went into high school. They're like, "Who the fuck taught you that?" I'm like, "What?"
I think
Vosotros, not
chalk.
nosotros.
If I remember correctly, I remember chalk being different from in Spain and than other Spanish.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a lot of wild things.
All right, so we'll go to the next question. Now
Oh,
that,
we can skip this one. We go to the last question.
oh,
'Cause this question is a little bit more like it's a little boring. I think we skip it
all
because
right.
we're almost done anyway, right?
School. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's
We go to the last question.
school lunch recess stories.
Yeah. So school lunch or recess stories. Anything you got? Anything you got for the final 10 minutes of the podcast?
School lunch / recess stories.
Yeah. Anything you have? Bad, good stories. I have a story.
Yo,
I
I
can say.
just want to say,
What's up?
back in the day, bro, niggas used to play dominoes for those schooly apple juices, bro. That shit was crazy.
Yeah,
Bro,
what
bro,
grade?
Bro, it
What
was
grade?
Skelly, bro.
Yo.
Oh, my whole high school career. What do you mean? What
So
grade?
so I'm sorry, because like when he says apple juices, my school did the same thing, but they did it in the bathroom. And
Oh.
they didn't do it
Yo.
for food. They did it for money. And then if you
Oh.
that's why I never used the bathroom, cause one time
Oh hell yeah!
a kid went in there and the dice hit him, or so a piece hit him, the dice, the domino piece or something. They were doing the domino.
Yeah, yeah. The gambling piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it hit his shoe, and they like fucked him up because he ruined the roll.
Oh, I would have.
So
I would-
we're just
yeah.
like, I just avoided the bathroom because someone's always in there doing some shit. So,
Bro.
Honestly, in my school, we couldn't even walk in the bathroom because there was always a big log of fucking shit.
yep. They did
Yeah,
the
bro.
same-
Why do
Yep.
you even use school bathrooms?
Nah, I never went to school. I never went to bathroom.
Yeah.
like that.
I could never.
I
I
learned,
could
you
never.
learn, you learn at third
I
grade.
could
You learn at the
never
third
use
grade.
You learned that since like
Bro.
elementary school, bro.
Bro, when niggas used to like fucking peek at you using the bathroom when you were a little
Oh
kid,
my god.
that was the
I'm
worst
just like,
thing.
stop.
That
My
traumatized
pee-pee's
me.
all out. Stop it. I'm taking a
That-
whack.
or the dumb kids who would like put their pants down when they use the urinal. Like, come on,
Bro.
bro, chill out.
In middle school, okay, I guess this is just bathroom stories now, but like in middle school, I went to the bathroom and it was completely dark, right? They turned it on,
Mhm.
one kid turned it on really quickly, right? And I'm like, thanks. So I
Mhm.
went to the urinal to take a waz, and then they turned it off really quick and started playing with a lighter. And they put it all up in my face. I'm like, all right, if I show fear, they're gonna hurt me. So I had to laugh. So I'm like, before I die.
Oh no.
Bro.
I'm just like, shit.
I have some different middle school, high school stories, bro. Like, I remember in middle school, so like we used to have this long hallway, right, where all the
Mhm.
students used to have to stand before lunch, and they would not let us in beforehand. So it was just a whole bunch of middle school students just in a hallway, just waiting to go in the lunchroom. And somebody had sent a stink bomb off, like
no.
in this small,
Yeah.
like cramped hallway, bro. And they was not letting us in. That's all.
Them shits were illegal at one point to have in school.
They really were.
Yeah. Go ahead, Crashrz.
And then in high school, so unlike the bathroom, we had locker stories, right?
Oh.
And in a locker room, like they used to be this one light. It was kind of hard to turn off or on, right? And
Mhm.
mind you, our gym teacher, who's basically in charge of the locker room too, right? He's a big buff black dude, all right? Like,
Yeah.
and he puts hands on people. That's all I'm gonna say, right?
Oh
and then-
fuck.
Anytime. And there will always be a student that's always trying to fight the teacher, right?
Yo.
Here's the thing, right? Everybody knew his name is called G, right? Everybody calls him G,
Okay.
and that sure to give you an idea.
Nigga about to beat his ass.
And I just remember a bunch of kids just yelling in the bathroom and just getting smoked on.
So the teacher went to the bathroom, started beating people's ass in the bathroom.
No, because they were fighting.
Oh.
But here's the thing though, right? Is that there's always these students trying to fight G because he could fight too.
Mhm.
So like it was like a thing when our school was like, yo, I could beat G. What are you talking about? Like there'll be students who would actually try to fight him outside of
Bro,
school.
that's wild. I feel like that would like that's a jeopardy for your workplace, bro. You get
As a
It kind
teacher.
of is,
you wound
but
that
like
kid once, and you're literally going to jail, bro. Go like that's hard. That's
bro,
hard.
it is. But like here's the thing, right? Is that so we had this thing called Bond, and it was basically like a men's group, and he's also one of the teachers there. So like he knew the students' parents too.
Mm.
So like G wasn't a person who would fight
Oh
the
yeah, he was
student,
one of those
but like
teachers.
if,
Yeah.
yeah.
He'd be like, Mrs. Miranda, your child is trying to beat my ass every 5 minutes. I want to go speak to him about that.
Yeah.
I see, yeah.
So that yeah.
He'd be invited to your
It was
dinner fucking.
that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
but honestly like Bond, at least for me, like I actually think like it worked out for the teachers we
All right.
had. 'Cause it was more like a mentorship program.
Mhm.
But like I just found that funny. Like that was just a thing with G. Like there was always be trying to this one person trying to put hands on G for no reason.
That's wild. I feel like I remember that when I feel like every like male athletic teacher, like a part of like the gym class, were always like super like rough with the boys, or like not rough, but they were like a lot more like aggressive or
They
like
really
hand holding.
were.
I guess.
They really
Yeah,
were.
I'm like
They
he like I. Whenever I did push-ups, they were like, oh, he would always slap my back, like, you can do 5 more. Like, bro, chill out. Like, I'm a growing boy. I'm only 15.
They would
But
roast
yeah.
the fuck out of my gym teacher right now in middle fucking high school. I think
Mhm.
I told the story before in the Brian episode, I think, and it was where one of my gym teacher, well, the current gym teacher there,
Mhm.
he was reading from the attendance, and one of my friends just yelled at, "Yo, Irvin can't read," and then everyone was just dying because this man was taking so long to say people's names. And ever since then, he started like looking at us so bad, like he's gonna kill us.
Oh, you heard his feelings, bro. Nigga, he had like a PS. He had like a fucking
I
flashback.
was just weak that he just screamed that out loud, and he was like, "Who said that?" And I was like, done. Um,
I'm
there was
about to
other
put the
times as
mitts on
well
you.
where our gym teacher was like he was also the health teacher and he smoked cigarettes, so that was fun to see.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of wild.
All right, but
Hey kids, I'm a teacher about
does
health.
anyone actually
My
have any recess? Oh, sorry, Malik. Do you want to say something? Or,
oh no, I was just gonna say another story, but you can
yeah,
ask your
does
question
anyone
first.
actually have a recess or lunch story?
I have a
A
lunch story,
recess
but let
or
Malik say
lunch
something
story.
because
Okay,
he
go,
has
Malik.
gone yet. I'll say my lunch story afterwards.
I say this story all the time, but in middle school, they used to play fucking asses up,
Oh yeah. I know about that.
and asses up was like they would get a handball, they would throw it up against the wall, and then
Yeah.
the ball would fall, and there was pretty much 3 rules. Number one was if you caught the ball, you could pelt it at somebody, but and this is the second rule. If the ball bounced on the ground, uh, they had a safe zone, which was the wall. And
Okay.
if you caught it without it bouncing on the wall or bouncing on the floor, then you could pelt anybody you wanted, no matter what.
Oh
So,
shit.
so one time, we're gonna call this boy Esteban, right? My boy Esteban caught the ball, and he's the famous pelter, bro. He he catches the ball, and you know who he looks at? He looks at me.
Oh.
He said, "Malik, boy, if you don't bring that ass here," and then, but oh my god, like I can't even. He caught it. He literally just like put his hand up like an anime character, caught it, and then looked at me. And I've never been more frightened in my entire life.
That's
Nigga had the aura behind him and everything.
okay.
got the
Yeah,
whole
he had the
aura.
aura behind him and everything, bro. My boy was a whole fucking anime character, and he don't pain
Nigga might
on the
That's
floor.
a
He might-
good recess story. I like
he might hit him with a fucking named attack and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so my lunch story, it was all the way back in first grade. We had I had summer school in my first grade because I was a dumb kid, and in summer school they actually had hot dogs for lunch, and like we just had hot dogs, and I was like, why isn't this like you would never expect to have hot dogs, and then like I only had it once, and then when I came back the next day, there was no more hot dogs ever again for the rest of the summer year, and like halfway through I was like, what happened to the hot dog? And like they had to remove it because one of the kids actually choked on it when they were eating it. So they had to they put a new law in Manhattan saying no hot dogs can be sold in fucking schools anymore.
Rip.
because a kid choked on it and almost died. It was wild. I was like, God damn, niggas really out here not knowing how to eat hot dogs correctly. That's crazy. So yeah, that's my lunch story right there. That's kind of wild. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's about it. All right, I know it wasn't that good of a story, bro, but like, come on, man.
Nah,
Bro, I'm sorry.
nah.
I was just thinking of Malik's stories though because I mean we didn't call it asses up, we call it suicide.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, it was both. It was
yeah.
both.
But I
But they
never
call-
played it. I saw it and I was always afraid of it. I was not playing that shit. I was not get,
Yo, that shit.
I
We were
hated,
fucking masochists.
I hated getting beamed with a ball. I
Yeah.
hated that shit.
especially a
A
fucking
handball.
softball.
No,
Them shits hurt.
a handball. That shit is painful.
Hurt.
Yeah,
And the worst part is you heard the fucking pop when it hit
Yeah.
you.
And then it's
Mhm, mhm.
over. Your life
when it
lost.
Lights
yeah
out.
when they collide with bone, shit colliding with bone, dog.
I had a few recess stories that it always
Yeah, I love that time.
occurs of me getting injured. It was from soccer. Like I used to play. The reason I didn't do so well in middle school was because I focused too much on soccer, and I didn't want to like study and stuff like that. Like I will always play soccer with my friends after school. But yeah, majority of the times I got hurt, and there was one time where we were playing soccer, and one of my friends kicked it towards me so hard, and he's a big guy for a kid in middle school, right? He kicked it so hard at my stomach, and it ricocheted to a to the school, and it hit the school building, and one of the bricks was already like loosened, and it popped out. One of the bricks popped out from the school, and inside that hole there was a whole squirrel. Like the squirrel was stuck. And then so we tried to pull it out, but there was this like really long red strand coming off his a-hole. And
What?
Yeah, it was like some weird strand. It was just coming out. We don't know what that was, and we were trying to pull it out to take it out, but we couldn't get it out. It was stuck in there. Everyone who touched it, we had to wash our hands because what was it? The person who watches over us during like recess and lunchtime, saw it, saw what happened. She was like, "Oh, go wash your hands," blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, when we all came out, me and my friends went to go see what happened with the squirrel, and it disappeared. It was not there. All you saw was a bunch of blood.
Bro, y'all were pulling his guts, bro.
No, we weren't pulling the strand at all. We were trying to pull the
He mu-
body out. Yeah,
That might have been umbilical cord, maybe.
maybe. Yeah, someone told us that it probably was pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was stuck there. Like it was impossible to get out. And I'm just like, damn, poor squirrel.
Yeah, poor squirrel.
That's great. So he was inside the brick.
He was he was inside the so like imagine a brick. Okay, so those brick, like you can see like each brick in a building.
Yeah.
So one of the brick is popped out, or like at least edged out first, and then it popped out after the ball hit it. And the squirrels, we noticed it, but it was always there. You could have noticed it even with the brick. We noticed it once the brick popped out, and there was a whole squirrel, like the tail and the body was stuck inside of it. Like, you could only see the body part, and you can see because the head was like deep inside the corner, so you couldn't see the face.
Yeah. I guess we can all just pray and hope that the squirrel was able to have he was able to have a safe exit out of that hole that they created.
I mean,
right?
yeah,
Wait, real quick. What's a squirrel's lifespan?
A squirrel's lifespan.
Isn't it like 15 years at most?
15 years?
I thought it was 15 years. It's like a rodent, right? Rodents usually have 15 years of life, or less. Let me check.
It says
Life,
Squirrels
15.
live.
It says
15,
marmons,
18.
Yeah, 15, 18. Chipmunks 6.
Mhm. Hey, there we go.
Okay,
My
so
inner
it could still
veterinarian
be
still in
alive.
there.
It could
My inner. You trying to find it, Malik?
Facts. She had an all journey. Probably the same squirrel that I saw running with a huge pizza back in my college.
Well, if my nigga Leo was a detective, he can just go back to the crime scene and get some DNA samples real quick. You feel me? We start cross notifying it.
Bro, those DNA samples are gone by now.
Bro, blood never goes away, dog. He got time. It's only been like what, 10 years?
What's really gonna wash it away, bro?
Yeah, it's inside of a whole building.
But
all right, I guess it's 6:59.
I
got one more story, bro.
I mean, you can.
Yo,
It's all you.
my fucking
Go off, King.
Yo, okay, so at recess, right? He was
Yeah.
also my gym teacher in high school. This man, let me tell you, he had a fucking monopoly, bro. This man how to make money. This guy, he worked the gym. And he was like the what am I gonna call him? Like the check-in guy at lunch. So he would check people in. He would be sitting in there with like mad fucking fruit snacks and snacks in general. And he would be selling that shit to the kids as his own thing, and none of the teachers ever like told him to stop. Nobody ever told him to stop. And every day he put like $6. And then on top of that, bro, he got students to sell that shit for him.
Wow.
He
Bro,
literally
he
had
was a dealer.
he was a dealer, bro. Yo, he made fucking money, bro. He used to work at that school, and then he came out with a fucking BMW, bro, parked out. Yo, that dude had money. And, yo, he's like a I
That
believe they
nigga a
call him like
hustler.
skinheads. Yeah, he's a fucking
That-
hustler. They
that's
called him a
what-
fucking skinhead. My boy was like 6'2", white, bald, like 33,
Man, that
selling
nigga
candy to high schoolers.
bro.
That sounds so wrong, but also, you know, he was making money, so
nigga,
He was
nigga
I
making
mean,
three
money.
I mean, how
making
was
a
that?
hundred making a
He was doing his
$300
thing.
profit, bro.
Oh
Off these little
god,
niggas.
Off
Off these
these-
little niggas.
daily. That remember, my school had 1,000 students.
Oh,
$1.
fuck. Yeah.
Exactly, that nigga was making.
I wouldn't have gone close to him, to be
Yeah.
honest, but you know.
Well, you would have learned, not to like, make it too real, but there were girls out there who would be like, if you bought me this candy from blank blank, I'll talk to you, and then niggas be on that.
I would definitely not be on that.
But that
Pe-
never
people were
happened.
definitely
But
doing
you know
that for
what,
clout.
we need to do that.
It's
The
the-
girls
it's the
liked him too. That's the crazy
it's
part.
They always
It's
like
the
the
candy
bald
clout.
guys, but that's another story for today. That's another
It's
story.
a candy clout.
That's another story. Let's
It's
just
the
do a-
candy clout, bro.
why girls
Yeah.
like bald guys, you know?
Oh, we do that. Yeah,
Fact.
you can have all our hair be bald. You can just give us all bald caps.
All right, that will be my last words actually. We're gonna do last words now. So final
Okay.
say. Let's go with
Guess Crashrz goes
our,
first, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where the fuck
All
is
right.
Crashrz?
my
Go
my
ahead,
final
brother.
say, at least towards education, is times are changing. All right, and I'm just hoping that there will be much more practicality within education. That's it.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Cool.
All right. I'll go, and then we can go from there. My final words are, I feel like school in general, especially college, is not really like what they teach you. It's more what you teach yourself. Especially with, like when I went to college, I focused a lot on like my own self, going to like clubs and like trying to network on my own and like learning about like why do I like these things and what can I learn from these classes. So I think it's important that like when you go to these higher echelon classes, that you try to like figure out what are you good at and what can you get from this, not what they can teach you. That's my final words.
Alright.
Malik.
Number one is high school. High school definitely, even though people might say it's like the best years of their life, these are fucking heavy ass revamp. That shit is dirt.
Oh, you don't like high school? Damn.
Nah, I think high school is the most pointless. It's like higher education, but if you they could do higher education better than what they did for it. So fix high school. Middle school is fine.
Yeah.
Elementary school is I think there's no problem with elementary school for what it is.
If anything, it's forgettable. At the very least, it's forgettable.
All right, I guess
Fundamentals.
my turn.
Yeah.
My turn. Are you done? Or
Yeah.
all right. Bet.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.
My final words is I have three things to say. Okay, one announcement, my final words of this episode, and then about the bald thing. I'm still mad about that. The first thing is about the topic is, if you don't just judge school. Don't judge the education. I mean, you can judge. You can think it's wrong. You can think it's all that. That it's false and it hasn't done anything for you. But at the end of the day, you experienced stuff. You met people from there, and I'm pretty sure I'm guaranteed that you met people there that influence your life that you would want to keep meeting that you probably wouldn't meet them without school. Um, so school isn't only an outlet for education. It's also for growing. It's making yourself better. If you know there's a fault, if you know there's a flaw, do something about it. Not try to change it, but do something about your life. You know, you can't just complain that high school was a waste for you. You got researchers, you know, you got Crashrz out here doing showing you guys up. You know, he did it his own. He said that he found an interest by himself and he did it. Because he knew there was a flaw. But my second point is about the girl thing. Bro, if you're a girl out there and you touched my hair once and said you love my hair, but you're out here fucking with all these bald guys, you need to chill the fuck out.
He's so hurt.
They ain't shit. They not shit,
you
bro.
ain't shit. You ain't shit. Because there's no reason for you to be touching. If you want to touch you go touch the bald scalp, my guy. Like, holy shit.
Yo, bald nigga got it too free, bro.
You know it's funny too, because all the guys used to slap the bald guy. They used to slap the back of his head. All right.
Yo,
Oh yeah, the
God,
fresh cut.
got the beans.
I think I said it, but if my daughter ever goes bald, I'm slapping the shit out of her head, bro.
All right.
Oh fuck.
Another thing is now the announcement. Okay, the announcement is we're doing great with these episodes. I'm pretty sure we're available for next week as well. We're keeping the ball running. I have created 3 bit tier emotes that you guys seen in the Discord. If you want to link the Discord, because we have yet to do that today.
My God, you're right.
So we link it, please.
My golly. Oh yeah. If you haven't followed yet, follow the Twitch.
Now,
You know
Malik has been out here doing his best to make the Discord really great, and I appreciate it. Which I would like to put part my I like to work with him a lot more by doing stuff myself. Next, starting March, if I can get like at least 10 people or at most 10 people from 5 to 10 to play Minecraft, RPG Minecraft server. We can do it. I'll make it. I'll get the realm for the Minecraft for the RPG Discord, and we can all join together. I don't think 5 people is that hard. I'm pretty sure some people are interested in it. But you know, I'm definitely gonna try to get Kelly into it, or because I know he did. You see that side? He's a hater.
Fuck Minecraft. I think I hate Minecraft more than Mario.
He definitely has to try it, bro. I'm definitely gonna buy for Kelly. Don't worry, he's in there. He's in there.
Definitely hate Minecraft more than Mario.
So we're gonna get a Minecraft server, and we're gonna get another thing is I mentioned it last episode, like really quickly, but next I'm gonna create a channel. Is it channel, right, for Discord? Yeah, a channel where you can you guys give me details of what you guys want for the stream, because sometimes you guys mention stuff that I still don't understand. I looked it up myself, but like I said, I can't read, so googling stuff is googling stuff is so hard for me because I can't read in general. So I would like I'm still learning Photoshop. I'm not the greatest, but it was I got lot of helpful videos about it. If you guys I know someone wanted me to improve my channel points, I'll gladly do it if I get information about it, if I can get a video, and that's where you guys can just put all the suggestions for me to improve the stream. Other than that, thanks you guys for watching. We finally got a Crashrz episode. Woo! Out of he's been here for so long, and we have yet to get one.
Right.
33 episodes.
It's partly cursed, but yeah, we finally got his episode.
He came late, but that's great, right?
Bro, that's not bad.
Yeah, 23 episodes in the making. 23 episodes in the making, bro.
23.
Yeah, you were in episode 10.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so 23 episodes in the making.
All right, so we'll say bye now. Bye, guys. For anyone who's
ya.
playing,
Bye.
good luck in Clash, or if you guys are just playing. All right, bye.
Fuck League.